Mm. Oh, let me turn my phone on. Do not disturb. We're live, Godmama. Ooh, welcome back to the C.C.C podcast, the concerned citizens and the conversations we like to have.
Amen.
Okay, while y'all
Amen.
trickle in, please hit that up while you're here. This is episode 2, and today's title is Who has the most narcissistic tendencies, men or women? And we definitely gonna discuss that. Okay, studies have shown one side is, opinions have shown the other side is. We're gonna try and dive into all of that and a little bit more. But first, how do you think about our first show, Godmama? How do you think about our first show?
I think our first show went well. I was excited. I kind of left off of here on kind of like a high almost,
Yeah.
And the feedback was awesome.
Yes.
I just need y'all now to put it in, like, be keyboard warriors today, okay?
Yes.
We want all the feedback from you guys today in the chat.
Yes.
Because that was the only hang up that I think we had last week is, our chat engagement and us engaging with them. But overall, it was an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
And it left people wanting more because they felt like the guests that we had didn't really satisfy their answer on, well, if men don't need God or religion, then what do they need? What type of accountability? And, because we got into a lot of things of, one of the main things that stuck out to me was we really are not as moral as we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our moralities will go out the window when we are tested, when they're tested. So
yes.
I think when we talked about having another conversation, and hopefully this time we can get some godly, and I don't do this disrespectfully, but godly men and their perspective on what it is to be a good man. Because, that's where we were going after that conversation.
Oh, I definitely want to do a part 2 of that one for sure. Because there was some unwoven strands left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that was brought up to both of us was, well, we didn't hear a lot about what about the wife and family. It was, you're willing to do this and you need it for that. But what are the revocations of that? If you're not a godly man, where does that lead your family?
Right.
Where does that leave you and your wife? So, yeah, I definitely want to do a part 2. Hello, everybody in the chat. Please hit the up and please share. Please share. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Y'all know what time it is over here. So, yeah, I think we'll definitely do a part 2 of that. And I also was very grateful for the turnout and the after promotion. Shout out to all of the supporters. Y'all have spoke so highly of us. And I hope that we can do justice. I hope we're not giving y'all false advertisements. So, are we excited? Are we ready? Go ahead.
We're excited, and I see a lot of people already in the chat are kind of answering who they think it has the most narcissistic tendencies, and I can't wait. I can't wait for us to dive into it and really see.
Yes.
Who is.
We might have to do a poll. We might have to do a poll at the end of the show. We might. Well, I guess on that note, we're ready to, I don't know, are we ready to get into it?
We're ready. During the break, make sure y'all get maybe a notebook, got something to drink, got what you need.
Get comfortable, y'all.
Honeybee, you deserve all you desire. So fly away, black butterfly, to what you admire. Only you can hinder you from truly reaching triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there.
Yes. Shout out to his lordship for that intro, coming in clean, sounding good. I love that. Who was that? Black Butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Narcissism is a human condition. I don't think one sex does it more than the other. You know what, Shitty Greg? I didn't know you were going to be available today. I will definitely drop the StreamYard link in your DMs if you'd like to come up and hit the panel, because you are somebody I do hold your opinion to a high regard. I sure do. But shout out to his lordship for that intro. We love it. And if you guys need an intro for everybody who's starting their own or just need some, if you already have your own, his lordship is the spot to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to that.
And we're gonna have our, y'all didn't see this guest last week, but we have a new guest today. We are on lock.
We on lock. King, we on lock. What's up, King?
What's happening? What's happening?
What
Good to be
portion
here.
of YouTube do you come from? Because I don't want to miss and say where your home is.
I'm a free agent, so
Oh,
Amen. Amen.
I
okay.
don't belong to nobody.
We love to see it. Love
Okay.
to see it. So
Nice.
you want to tell a little bit about yourself before we get started, or because our
Yeah,
people may not be, you know, privy to who you are.
I don't know. Uh, I'm known in a lot of spaces nowadays. I'll just start off with this. Um, I'm a very balanced person. I like talking about you know relationships in general, men and women. You know, hooking up together in harmony, but it seems like it's a struggle to want to do that when every other day you're fighting about something. It's
Mm-hmm.
always something.
Mm-hmm.
So my job is, and mind you, this is fun. This is a hobby to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a relationship. I'm married. I'm a wife with two kids. But I would like to see a real a a rare high percentage when it comes to people getting married. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know about this century, but but boy, woo, I mean, the only thing we can do is try. The only
Amen.
thing
Yes.
we as in we us the
He
people
didn't
we
even say this generation. He said this century. Okay.
this
Yeah.
century, yes, this century is yeah, locked with this with the what you call it, the A's and the Z generation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right, and that brings
I'm generation X. So
and see that brings us into kind of what me and Lurker were talking about. You know, getting ready for the show is that a lot of the times narcissistic traits are given to us from our parents. Those tendencies are learned by interacting with our mothers and our father and watching their interaction and those types of things. So when
Mm-hmm.
you say that over this last century marriage has kind of been a taboo, right? That would kind of make sense because we are in now in 2024 a very narcissistic culture.
mhm.
Facts.
When it comes to like I said, well, when it comes to relationships in general, you would kind of think, well, back in my day, or families were more um reunited,
More united,
or
right?
were reunited, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
or more united than ever before. And you know, people had jobs. I mean, my mom and my mother and my father worked um until his early retirement, and he passed away at an early age, 37. Um, and then my mom had to carry the load. But nowadays, it's like, I mean, like we don't know what how to balance the scale. One minute you want the woman to stay home, and the other minute you want the woman to work, and then it's a wishy-washy type of
Seesaw mentality,
yeah,
right?
yeah, one of those what you call them things. I remember reading and sorry for the Bible reference. I remember reading Revelation, and one of the four horsemen had a scale, and I'm
That's right.
thinking, is this really what it's going to turn down to? I mean, we got too many, what you call it, narcissistic type dudes out here, and women too.
Well,
But
we need to get into what is the definition of narcissism, right? Because
mhm,
there's a lot of people will say, well, he's a narcissist. Well, maybe he's an egocentric or an egomaniac, or maybe he's just
very controlling.
there's so many personality disorders. I don't want to classify them all under narcissism, because just like Shitty Greg said earlier in the chat, and hello everybody, I see y'all. Like Shitty Greg said earlier, all humans have a narcissistic tendency, especially when you were born, like you said, in a century. You brought up century, so that's why I laughed about that, because when I was doing the research on narcissism, people weren't narcissistic or didn't have that personality disorder. They weren't diagnosed with it back 3, 4, 500 years ago. It was more based on survival and wealth and being born into a family.
Mm-hmm.
Narcissism, as far as all humans having it, is a newer disorder for that all people. But to what extreme, and are you able to identify that you carry it?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the actual what is narcissistic, I mean,
I'm pulling it up, sis, so you don't
are
have
you going to
to.
put it on? Are you sharing it on the screen? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know three of the biggest right here. Okay.
Let's see if I can zoom in. Tell me if it
Okay, there we
zooms
go.
in.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay.
Right? And it's a disorder. It is a personality disorder. So you might have some traits of it, but you might not have the disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like we unlock said, it could be male, it could be female. And we're not trying to blame anybody, but in this day and age, who has more of those tendencies?
Mm-mm-mm.
Who has more of those tendencies? Who has the need for more, or who shows the need for self-importance, preoccupation with power, beauty, success? And when it says beauty, it doesn't mean hair, nails, makeup.
Mm-mm.
Manscaping is also a form of beauty. Overdoing yourself in the gym is also a form of beauty. Just putting that out there. Number 3, it says entitled. Who has more of a sense of entitlement? Number 4, can only be around people who are of importance. I don't hang around bums, and I don't hang around scrubs, and you couldn't catch me dead going to cheesecake with this bum nigga. I don't want a man that only makes $23 an hour. Oh, so you're just inferior to everybody? We'll discuss. Number 5, interpersonally exploitative for their own gain. Number 6, arrogant. There's a lot of people who are arrogant, but not narcissists. Number 7, lack empathy. A nigga who don't give a fuck. That doesn't make him a narcissist, but this is one of the symptoms. Must be admired. Constantly needing praise. And that's what we were talking about earlier. It stems from your parents in that aspect. When your parent is constantly saying you can do no wrong, and oh, the school called and my kid's acting up, and it's not my kid's fault, it's the other kid's fault, it's the teacher's fault. Must be admired. You're great. You're good, even though you suck. We have to stop giving people participations awards because we're building an army of narcissists. But anyways, number 9, envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. So those are the 9 symptoms. And if you cross all those boxes, baby, I hate to diagnose you. You might be a narcissist.
You might be a narcissist.
Well, I spoke to a therapist before, and they said if you have at least 3 of those very same ones that you just read, including a one I'm about to add, cheating. If you have one of those things, then you're considered a narcissist.
And that would
Oh,
fall
just
under
one.
always falling under the need for admiration. That's why a narcissist will cheat. They need that constant admiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about, hey, good job. You did great at your job today. I'm not talking about that. That absolute need in every little thing that you do, even when it's mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
We
That's where
got
the
to
ego
stop
comes.
praising mediocrity
hmm
because
That's where
then
the
people
ego
get to feeling
comes.
entitled. So,
So
okay, go ahead,
we
Governor.
I'm sorry. There, please clarify. Wait, hold on. Let me pause. Okay. I will look at that
The
when
DSM-5.
someone else is talking. How many
Right.
symptoms you need to
You said 3. I thought it was 4, but okay.
I'm not sure.
I got you. Go ahead, finish with your statement. I got you.
Okay. It left me.
Oh, that's okay.
Let me let
Uh,
me let me ask y'all a
Go ahead.
question. Have you met anybody that's narcissistic?
Oh, definitely.
I've heard many of tall tales of people, you know, smashing down doors and, you know,
it's 5.
acting acting innocent.
5.
You know, it's just, hey baby, I love you. I don't want you to leave me, and wonder why you got holes in the walls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
People, tattletaling on you, thinking that he's the victim when you're the one with the scars, the emotional scars.
Right.
The physical scars don't come till later. But yeah, I only heard little telltales of that. As a matter of fact, I have a friend of mine who has actually told her story online, and it was a very long, dragged out, very sad, and very facetious type of a story. And me myself, I wonder where if I'm ever going to meet this particular person. And me, I like knocking people out. I like knocking people out who like to put their hands on a woman and thinking that it's okay to put their hands on a woman.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's also something called reactive. And if we're going to say the women are narcissistic, or if the woman in that relationship is the narcissist and she is berated, she is belittled, she is cornered, she has verbally abused, physically assaulted, and then the man gets up and clocks the crap out of her, and she starts crying, victim, oh my gosh, but he wasn't here for me, but she's not telling everything that led up to that. That's a reactive response.
Mm-hmm.
So, and narcissists will use that as their trigger to move on to their next prey, I guess you could say, their next victim or whatever. They will turn the argument, they'll shift blame,
Mm-hmm.
they will become the victims, then they will do a smear campaign. But women, I've seen women do that quite a bit. Men will do it too. Don't get it twisted. I won't get into details, but I do see that a lot with women who the female psyche of narcissism. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I'm glad you guys, because we brought it back to full circle to where my thought was. Studying for this podcast, I found a website that was specifically talking about it more so with women having narcissistic personality disorder. But what they were saying is it's not diagnosed as much in women because we don't show the same traits as a man shows
Correct.
when it comes to being a narcissist. So that's why it's kind of, they're going by
Yes.
this textbook of this is a narcissist. So yes, most men and their egos fit into what a narcissist is, self-preservation. But a lot of the times women, we kind of get pushed off to other mental health disorders, hysteria, and all of the other bipolars and those things. When in reality, a lot of us have narcissistic tendencies, and Lurker and I were like, because one of them is lacks empathy. And we
Mhm.
were like, there's no way that's a woman. There's no way that a woman can lack empathy. But it's not in the way that you think, right? It's not in the way of someone's crying, so you push them away and say, "Get away from me." No, it's the manipulation through the empathy that we do a lot of
Right.
the times.
Right.
Do you feel that women can be feel entitled to everything? And
Absolutely, we are not. Absolutely, brother.
well,
Absolutely. Because listen, I'm gonna be full transparency. Um, there's been a time, because I'm a mother of three. I'm a wife. I'm a stay-at-home mom and wife. There is a point in time where I felt entitled to that, right? I was owed to be able to sit at home and not have to contribute to anything. I felt like I was entitled to that. Why? Because I gave you children.
Come on. Come on, God mama.
And that is a lot of mindset that sometimes we get because of these centuries of programming. I was raised by a narcissist. She was a full-fledged narc.
mm-mm.
Mm. Mm.
What? Well, uh, again, I have
He didn't know
never.
what to say. He got him choked up.
No, because I've never encountered any females
Accountability
like
from a
that.
woman. Just kidding. Sorry.
I never encountered any females that were narcissistic to me anyway. But I can tell you that a man definitely it's just like for prime example. I don't know if this is narcissistic or not, but you can stop and tell me. Um Pregnancy. Everybody's talking about, well, I'm gonna I have to control you so that we can have a better life and you won't be going out there showing your little poom poom to or giving your way your little poom poom to everybody else. And if I'm not financially economically set and stuff like that, we can't have no kids. But yet you want to have sex with the person that you're with, and you're telling her not to have children, but
Mm-hmm.
she has the child, then you want her to delete the baby.
Mhm.
Yikes. That sounds like an issue. Um, I
Come on,
always preach
Bianca. Come
I
on.
always preach that separation is needed until we
Mhm.
can get back to our normal human nature of things as men and women, and that we can't be so controlling, so combative to one another, and there won't be so much blame. The women said women ain't shit. Da, 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 da. I don't know if I can cuss on here,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
women,
Yes, feel
okay,
free to.
women ain't shit, men ain't shit, and all this other that stuff. It's like, well, you got me pregnant. I was like, well, you shouldn't have opened your legs to that man. It was like, well, what the? I'm like, okay, I think parting ways from one another is a more better solution. That way, one of you won't come up in dead or in prison.
Well,
Mm.
I want to hop on that with you. Okay, let me ride this wave with you, we unlock, because
Okay, it's a real bumpy wave.
it, it, it's I like that you said it, because if I'm just going with that aspect, it's very hard to keep a man if you're not dishing out sexually.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come on now. Come on now. I'm going on mute, but you got a sister. Let's go. Tell
Okay,
her.
so it's
Tell her.
in this day and age, in this century, it's he's not going to stick around for 3 months unless you go find you a godly man or a Christian man or somebody of faith, a Muslim, or somebody of extreme faith that feels that way. But just an average person in today, and I'll just stay with America for right now. Um, you're not going to be able to keep a man if you're not given something physically, because he has needs. But you're right. When she gets knocked up, he wants to delete the baby because he's not ready, or he's this and that. So it's very confusing to a woman what a man really wants.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
gonna have to
that
deal with
plays
that
back.
for a while.
Yeah,
Go
right.
ahead.
And that plays back into the role of a man needing that control, feeling that the woman is inferior. You need to
Mhm.
go get on birth control. You need to be wearing a certain type of dress. You need, go ahead.
And before I forget,
Go ahead.
you if she decides to keep the baby, are you going to stick around?
Right. I didn't want that baby anyways. And I told your
Mhm.
ass to have an abortion. And and that's not my baby. That does happen. That
Mhm.
does happen. And that might be a narcissistic trait depending on that person. But I do know that that is a rampant situation, to the point where I've had to teach my own that you don't need physical love to love somebody. And if you don't want to give it up and they move around, let them, because the person that is supposed to be with you, they would be happy to wait for you. Don't let some
Mhm.
man get in your head, and don't let some girl get in your head. Well, then you must be this, you must be square, you must be that. Yes, be square. But that manipulation tactic, and then if she does have the baby and she does stay home, or she does this and that, how much duty is he fulfilling in that child's life? Whether he
Ra-
stays or goes. Sinister salts in the back. He's ready
Rarely
to go
or
on the
even
panel.
enough. Or they might say, well, you're let's just call it what it is, unfit for the child. So give him to me and I'll take care of the child. When it's
No, she's
both
unfit.
when it's
She's
both of your
unfit.
responsibilities.
Or, instead of using that as a way to control, and then complain, well, why these bitches put me on child support? Why these bitches put me on child support? Sir, I mean, shit. Somebody got to help out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. It can go either way. But if we dive into male, females in relationships, as far as narcissism, my experience, I don't know. My experience, the male was the narcissist, but I know for a fact, I've seen it for a fact, where the woman was a narcissist. So I don't know. That first one, as far as relationships and all that, I can't give it to men or women. But
Oh, that's too bad. Good morning.
Hi, Saul. Thank you for joining.
Hey, good morning. What's up, Wall Nation? We never met, but what's going on? Hey, God, Mom. What's up, Lurker?
How you doing?
Hi, babe.
What's going on?
I 100% believe that women are much more narcissistic than men. Not to say that there ain't no narcissistic men out there, but as far as who does it more, who has more tendencies, it's definitely women.
So
Okay.
why do you
And it's
think all of the studies say that it's men? Because trust me, Saul, I tried to
We both
find a
did.
study that says no, women have more narcissistic tendencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Well, honestly, and I believe a lot of people would agree with me on this. There's an agenda to kind of unempower men. Is that the right word? To take power away from men. So of course, anything bad that has to do, it's like there up until what 3-4 years ago, there was no such thing as quote unquote toxic masculinity. It hadn't been given a name. Are there some toxic ass dudes out there? Yes, but to just label masculinity as being toxic now, I think that has to do with an agenda.
No, there was
Honestly.
another word for it. What do we call it? Not mansplaining, but there was another word before toxic masculinity, and that goes back.
Oh yeah, mansplaining.
But what we call it, misogyny. Toxic masculinity. It was called misogyny before it was called toxic masculinity.
Right.
So
right,
I mean,
and
that concept
and recently
isn't new.
Yeah. Right, and recently, more even myself, within like the last, I'd say, year and a half, I just became privy to the word misandry. People never use that because, like I said, an agenda. I believe it all has to do with an agenda. Misandry, the hatred of men. So if you basically tell a woman what it is you want and you're going to put yourself before her, then that's misogyny. But feminists say women should put themselves before the man. Is that not misandry? Apparently, doing stuff for yourself, which many people, especially women, have been pushing for decades now. People call that being selfish. They call that, oh, you're being narcissistic. It's like, no, I'm just looking after myself first. Maybe once I get into a position where I can help people, then I will. But for now, if I can't help myself, even Tupac said it, if I can't help myself, how the hell am I going to help you and me? You know what I'm saying? So it's not being selfish. To me, it's not. It doesn't seem like it is.
Well, it is a little selfish when you, like I was just saying before you hopped up here, I don't know if you heard, it is a little selfish if you, not you particularly,
Yeah.
it is a little selfish if, for both parties, male and female, if you want to engage in certain actions that typically lead up to something you're not ready for. Why indulge in that? Why not?
You mean like having kids and shit?
Having kids, moving in together, all of that. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it will be fair? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think it will be fair because women say my body, my choice? And it is. It's your body, it's your choice. If you decide you want to have the kid, okay. Imagine though you get pregnant and you don't want to have a kid, but the man does want to have the kid. And he says, look, you don't even have to take care of it. Just have it, give it to me. And she says, no, I'm going to terminate it. Is that fair? Number one. And then number two, how much of an how bad do you think things would get in terms of child support and whatnot if they made it to where, because I heard somebody say this before, if they made it to where a man can have a financial abortion, okay, he signs a paper, he doesn't have to pay a damn thing. Do you think women would trip over that, or would people just be like, okay, yeah, that sounds fair? Because I mean, your body, your choice, my bank account, my choice, right? Shouldn't that be how it goes? Or that doesn't sound fair?
No, that sounds fair to me.
Because I mean, if you didn't stop him from pulling out, I mean, it takes two to make a baby. Your body, your choice. You know what I'm saying? My dick, my load. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm not on mute. If he
stop him from pulling out, stop him from pulling out.
So did you? I don't think you.
I don't think if
I can't
any
listen,
man is
bro.
in any position to
we're not attacking
good because it's actually too good.
You know, if you're on top, if you're behind, I listen. That's why I got
it's
3
your
kids,
like you said, it's your dick, you're alone. We can't stop you. But that's why you should be women. That's why you need birth control and all those other things. But we're getting off kilter.
You have condoms too, but men have condoms as well.
But yes, birth control, condoms, all of those things.
Let's get back to
narcissism. And Godmama, can you please we need a reminder of what the 9 symptoms of narcissism are, because you need 5. But yeah, here's the definition.
Some of them fall under the category of psychopathy.
Yeah. Well, cluster B as well.
Or psychopathy. Yeah.
Cluster B.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so a narcissist is a person who has an excessive interest in admiration of themselves. Constantly thinking highly of themselves, constantly feeling as though they can't be around, they can't learn from anybody. That's like Kanye West. If you don't make enough money as me, I can't learn from you. That's insanity to me. That's narcissism to me. That's saying my poom poom's better than any bitches on the world, but you get dogged out just like the rest of these girls. That's narcissism. You live in a fantasy. There's men who feel like they can have 18 million baby mamas and not have to pay the repercussions and then play victim when they do. That goes for male and women. So again, I don't think there can be, I don't think it can be male or female have higher narcissistic tendencies. I definitely think it's equal, and I definitely think it begins with your upbringing and your environmental adult life as well. So.
That definitely plays a part, but as far as because
you keep saying women, we get it, Kylie. You hate it.
I think circumstance, scenario, and environment definitely plays a part. However, we've all come across at least one person in our life where it's like, nah, we've known them since the sandbox. They've always been this way. Like me, the way I speak, the way I am, I've always been this way. I just learned more curse words. That's about it. And so I noticed she had put in the chat, they have a low self-image. That's actually true. They actually don't like themselves. They don't hate themselves. And so they believe if I could get others to believe that I'm a great person, maybe it'll trick me, or maybe I'll start to actually believe I'm a great person. So they put on false bravado. They assume, well, not really assume, but try to put on an appearance to everyone else as though they think everyone is envious of them. It's just, yeah, yes,
correct, right. It's a false narrative. It's a delusion. And they weaponize it. They weaponize the delusion. That's what a narcissist does. A narcissist doesn't sit by themselves and say, oh, I'm the greatest. A narcissist has to have somebody feeding it constantly.
And that's why I think, go ahead. We on that. Go ahead.
Believing, I will also say believing in what you offer, what you put to the table. It's basically all about you at this moment. It's all about you. I mean, I'm the good one in the family. Meanwhile, you know, my wife, she has a little issue. Could you talk to her? I mean, I don't want to step on her toes or anything, but last time we had a discussion, we had a conversation. She was arguing with me about this and about that, about da 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 da, and you go to her, and it's like that's none of it far from the truth. It's that they want you to believe you want people to believe in you if you're that quote unquote victim. It's like that's where the control comes in, and I would rather they would rather come to a conclusion where not all your family members, trust and believe, not all your family members act this way, but few and far in between will say this to you. If you're the victim, quote unquote victim, the narcissist person, right? If you're the quote unquote victim, they will come to your wife, or they will come to your husband, or whoever is supposed to be the victim, right? And they would say, you need to start acting like you care for your spouse.
Right.
It's like, and all of it's like, oh, well, no one bothered to ask me what I've been through. No one bothered to ask me. And it's like, what about these scars? It might be self-inflicted, or you know, we saw we known you had an attitude for many, many years when you was a little kid. And it's like, none of that stuff can be farther from the truth. Just turning people against you so you can stay. You're going to be staying with him or her for the rest of your life. And there's practically nothing you can do about it. And it's crazy. And it's crazy what links you would go to keep her in a position where she's like a slave to you.
I need to cut in real quick. Hi, Shree Bear. Welcome to the panel. And let me cut in besties in the chat. Hi. That was the definition. I'm not sure where that was from, but that wasn't the DSM. I had sent a couple to Godmama, and this is what I pulled up as far as narcissism. It is personality qualities, including thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. This is the other definition. So it's not just about feeling all about self. That because if you look up an egomaniac, if you look up, there's so many. This is a broad spectrum. The human brain, the personality disorders is huge. If we narrow it down just to narcissism, because there's a lot of people who are arrogant. Arrogancy is feeling highly of yourself. There's a lot of people who are cocky or super confident, hyper confident. That doesn't make them a narcissist. So yes, that little definition that Godmama just threw up was, I think, just a Google one. but the one I just stated is a little more in detail. So that is the definition. The definition is having people feel inferior and having the need for admiration constantly. So you can think about yourself all want. You're just an arrogant asshole, right? You can still care about other people and still think highly of yourself.
Could I add something to that real fast?
Yeah, Ben.
Because a lot of people like don't understand it. There's a difference between being arrogant and having earned arrogance. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Correct. Right. When you've earned your arrogance, if you are the top surgeon, yes, there's a lot of surgeons who are arrogant and live on a high horse, right? Quote unquote. You're on a high horse, but they've earned it. That doesn't mean they don't care about people. These top surgeons are saving lives, but they're very arrogant. They're very condescending when you're just trying to have a normal conversation with them. That doesn't make them narcissistic. So you have to add in all these qualities and you have to meet 5 to be narcissistic. So we're having a very broad conversation about a very complex personality disorder. Hi, Shree Bear. Come on in, mama.
Hey, how y'all doing? Okay, I just wanted to say a couple things based off of what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start off like this. When a power structure is a certain way, those that the power structure benefits will always look at things differently than those who do not benefit from said power structure. Because it was said earlier that, about the whole male and female thing, women were here and men are here, and now women are trying to be at the same level. Is that narcissism? No, it's not really. It's really just trying to be equal. If we have been on the lower end of the totem pole as far as patriarchal society, and we just want equal footing in the door, in the gate, whatever, to be looked at the same, to be respected the same, and we're climbing through that, that's not exactly narcissism. That's just trying to be equal. That's like saying Black people want to be narcissists now because white people have held a power structure for so long, and now we're trying to get ourselves to an equal footing. Maybe better, that might be nice, but equal should be nice. So are Black people now narcissists because we're trying to, uphold Black power, or just trying to be human? Like that doesn't make too much sense for me.
That came up in my research. That's one of the questions I had. I said, are white people more narcissistic? And they actually, what I found was, like you just said, it depends on who holds the power. In our country, it was the white people. In other countries, it's the majority of the race and the superior class, the hierarchy.
Right.
So I thank you for bringing that up, because that was in my research.
No doubt. And the term for toxic masculinity before that term came up was macho, machismo. Misogyny is like a side thing, because I feel like being macho and machismo and trying to get to that level of quote unquote manhood back in the days is totally different from hating women.
A macho man.
Being that macho man, and women have to be like this, and I gotta be like that. That's a form of narcissism to me. But being misogynist or being misandry, that's a totally different thing. That's just straight hate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Women are covert narcissists. We're not overt narcissists. Maybe that has to do with the power structure as well.
Correct.
But personally speaking, I question whether I'm a narcissist like once every 3 months. And then I take the test and they're like, no, you're not. The fact that you're asking if you're a narcissist means you're not a narcissist.
Exactly. Like, damn, am I a narcissist? What the hell going on around here?
Right. But what I wanted to say was I have two examples of narcissists from females. The biggest covert narcissist that I've ever met as a female was Velvet from Carbonation. All right. The second thing of female narcissism that I have seen recently, I forgot the girl's name who just got out of jail and she killed her mom.
Your
And
peace reflection. Welcome back.
oh, I'm
Listen,
sorry, I used the K word.
no,
She
you
destroyed
good.
her mom.
No,
Oh,
you fine. I'm just saying, like, are we gonna go down the rabbit hole of that lady too? Because
yeah,
I,
yeah, because her mom, remember, her mom was like putting her through all kinds of surgeries and she's sick,
Her
and
name was
sending her to the
with an
hospital
M.
just to make
Her name
herself
was
look good.
it wasn't it Mariah? I don't want to trigger
Grace
anything.
something.
Oh, I thought it
Gypsy,
was
the
She's like a big
lunch,
sensation now,
yeah, the
but her
Gypsy,
mom was
Oh,
the
Gypsy
narcissist,
Rose.
not
Gypsy
Oh, I
her. It
thought
was
you were
her
Rose.
talking
mom.
about Carbonation still. I was like, Mariah's the girl who did that. Oh, okay, yes. Gypsy
Yeah,
Rose is a
Oh no,
huge.
Mariah is the one that did something to her mom, but I'm talking about in the
Okay,
news now with
okay,
the young
okay.
lady who just got out of jail.
Yes,
And she's
Gypsy
like
Rose.
all over the news. Yes, that's her name, Gypsy Rose. Her mother was the narcissist because her mother put her through all kinds of things just to make herself look good. To me, that's
hmm
ultimate narcissism right there. You made the girl have eye surgery, all kinds of different things, took her to the hospital for all kinds of imaginary things just to make yourself look
And
like the
her
best
mom
mom.
didn't suffer from narcissism. It was just Munchausen by proxy. That was a
There,
tool.
that's the name of it.
Yeah, so she
Thank
was
you,
a
Nurky.
narcissist because she still had she didn't meet all five or she didn't have all those things, but yes, Munchausen by posse, and maybe even some cluster B. When they say you have a personality disorder, there's many,
Hmm.
yes,
And see,
many
that's
areas.
why we discussed having this conversation because we are in a space where we're just constantly throwing out, you're a narc, you're a narc, you're a narc, you're a
Right,
narc, you're a narc.
and
But
you're not.
really, and people aren't. They're just holding, most of the time, people are just holding boundaries, right? And you get offended by that boundary someone is holding onto, and you feel like, well, now it's a self attack because I want to do this, and you're saying, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, why not? That's a narcissistic tendency to want to cross someone's boundary after they've laid their
Mhm.
boundary in the sand and saying, no, this, I'm not going over this. And you constantly keep addressing it. And okay, and a prime example would be unsolicited nudes or unsolicited
Advances.
advances. When people say no, no, thank you, and
I agree with that.
you continuously do it,
Hmm.
and to me, a lot of men do that. If we're gonna keep to the argument's sake, men or women, to me, a lot of men cross over that line where a woman's like, yeah, 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 but they're like, no,
We unlock would
no.
like to chime in. Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead.
I just like to ask, that the blue character, the tall black dude that raps,
Blueface.
blue face. I don't know none of these motherfuckers, but
It's
anyway,
Blueface, baby.
him in his relationship with, well, once was his girlfriend. Do you consider that a narcissist type thing?
Yes.
That whole relationship was just plain toxic and dangerous.
I'm about to say toxic too.
Somebody, I'm surprised neither of them has shot the other by now. But yeah, go ahead.
Well,
They got into plenty of fist fights.
Well, and I think
Plenty.
Blueface also has a need to keep being admired. That's why he blasts one baby mama, go back to the next one. That's why he keeps them on the roster and kind of plays them against himself. He needs that constant, and he feels that. Well, I don't know. I don't know Blueface. That's a celebrity, but just from what I've seen, he thinks he's the greatest producer, rapper, all of those
of
things.
all
And
time,
again,
yes.
he has shown some signs of narcissism for sure.
I mean, he looks like, if we're gonna keep it in that, he looks like Nature Boy to me, just in a different
Exposing his
aspect.
own child's genitals online lets you know he don't give a fuck about nobody, not even his own.
Mm-mm.
Scary.
Well,
No.
can I speak like as far as entitlement goes and sticking to the topic because I'm not going to talk about Blueface being on some Cali Crip shit, but as far as okay, say something happens in a relationship, say the man leaves, they'll say, oh, he's fucked up for leaving her. That's messed up. He left her. If the woman leaves, they'll say, well, what did the man do to cause her to leave? What did she do? As far as narcissism goes, the majority of like women have their narcissism fueled more by other people. Their narcissism will be looked over and fueled more. Men, we have no choice. As men, we have no choice but to adhere to reality. There's women out there who are on a scale of 1 to 10, looks wise, they'll be 5s and 6s, but they could sleep with a quote unquote 10 out of 10 man. Like I spoke to y'all about this before. And if she sleeps with enough of them, she's going to begin to believe I must be a 10 also. I must be a 10 also, but an overweight nigga eating cheese puffs, playing video games in his mama's basement, he can't go out there and smash a whole bunch of 10s. Reality will tell him otherwise. But yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna get into that too, so thank you for bringing that up. Go ahead, we unlock, baby.
No, I'm just saying he can. I mean, would a woman want a man that works at 7-Eleven or works at Burger King or works at Taco Bell? Not exactly, because they want that 6-7 figure nigga.
Thank you.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told.
But is that a narcissistic trait? The answer is no.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, it's a trait, but is it that person narcissistic?
Well, no. I was just saying their narcissism is fueled more. That's why I just gave that example. Like,
oh no,
yeah,
I agree with
5
you.
and 6 sleeping with 10s. Nah, that's gonna fuel your narcissism. That's going to ultimately fuel your delusion.
Your
to
ego.
believe you're something more than what you aren't.
Feels I can sleep as many women as I want, and pretty much get away with it. And
yeah, but you can bag. You're not bragging about what Salt's saying is you're not bad. You can bag 3s if we're counting 1 through 10. Okay, a bad bitch is a 10 and a goofy bitch is a 1. Men can bag 3s all day. They're not bragging about it, right? They're just getting their nut. But a woman who's a regular goofy bitch like myself, I can go bag. I don't know, some of these higher up looking men, and then I think highly of myself. Oh, yeah. And then I stopped talking to niggas who want to take me to Cheesecake Factory, right? Because, I done had two niggas who, paid me to fly out on their jet. And now I'm some bad. Now I'm a 10. No, bitch, you're not. But that's just a false thing of self. That's all that is. It's a narcissistic trait, but it doesn't make you narcissistic.
Well, it seems like it falls under the category of narcissism in like because you named on the list believing others are envious of you, doesn't it?
But in order to be considered a narcissist, you have to meet 5 things on that list. I don't know if you missed the beginning of our show, babe.
I saw most of it.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to have 5 of those to be considered. Now, you can have everybody's narcissistic to a degree. Like I said, you might feel this way, but you still have empathy for others. You might be thinking you can fuck all kinds of niggas, but you still feed the homeless. You can still this, that, and the other, and look out for your kids, not blasting their genitals on the internet.
Well, I got a question. Is it complete loss of empathy, like 100% loss, or a lack of empathy? Because I know myself, I definitely suffer from a lack of empathy. I probably don't care about motherfuckers as much as I should, but like a complete loss, no. So is it a complete loss or is it just a lack of?
I don't think it's a complete loss. I don't know. I don't know if it's a complete loss because I didn't see the word loss. I saw lack of empathy. And it's usually towards the people you are supposed to have empathy for. It's not lack of empathy for people you don't know. It's lack of empathy for the people you have right with you.
For your family, but you have a lack of empathy for the people that you hurt.
Right.
I would say when it comes to you not getting your needs, I'm sorry to cut y'all off. When it comes to not getting your needs as a narcissist, you will cut off all your feelings.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like narcissism has a lot to do with.
Or your child.
Yeah, or your child, yep. I feel like it has a lot to do with consistency and time because, one situation does not always make you a narcissist. But if there's a whole pattern of you doing this type of thing, then yeah, you could be a narcissist. I mean, truth be told, I feel like American society or maybe the media, whichever you want to call it, perpetuates us to be more narcissistic in general. And they
Yes.
use that as a form of control too.
Yes. Yes. Care about yourself. Look how great you are. You can look even better with this false reality. Put you on some makeup, get you some liposuction, do a filter. You can do all those things. You can be delusional. Absolutely. It's pushed through the media for sure. I want to address Reef real quick in the chat. What's up, Reef? Y'all make sure you hit the up, like, and please share. Women are not in touch with their intuition. We're not talking about intuition. We're talking about narcissism. But anyways, women are not in touch with their intuition because we men brainwash them to get rid of their intuition and depend on our weak leadership.
I love to hear it.
I don't have a bomb drop, but if I could drop a bomb.
Ow.
And can I say something real quick? Because Reef,
fabrication of energy.
Yeah,
because I'm about to say, Reef, if you look at it, Mother Nature might not be a narcissist, but when she don't give a damn, she don't give a damn. Okay,
She
she's
doesn't
very
like
unpredictable.
right. Yeah.
I
She
think it has to
does
do
like
with
empathy. I was about to say, everybody's equal. Everybody can get it. The whole planet can die and she'll rebirth another one and not give a fuck.
I think what Reef said, I think that has to do with the fabrication of energy. Like how many of these dudes, these Pookies, Ray Rays, and Lamars of the world can pretend to be something so well. They can fabricate, because you women always say, well, if the energy's there, if the vibe is right, they can. Men these days, it's mainly the betas who can do it. Because the alphas, they naturally, you know what I'm saying, put the energy out. It's these betas, these Pookies, Ray Rays, and Lamars out there who fabricate the vibe, fabricate the energy, get what they want, and then they're out. And the girl's like, well, I just couldn't see it coming. The vibe was right. It was like, yeah, that's because the vibe was fake. He watched a bunch of other people who actually put out that vibe, and he was able to fabricate it enough to get you to have sex with them. Now he's out the door. So yeah, I think that has to do with fabrication of energy.
And
Well, isn't
I
that
wanted to
what
add
kind of
something.
like a narcissist trait is just pushing off a fake persona
Yeah.
of self?
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
because
Shree.
one thing I wanted to agree with Saul on, but yet go a little different is about the I don't know the word either, the demasculation of men maybe, or the increased emasculation of men, so to speak. Excuse me. I do agree that that's happening, but I don't think that's a woman thing. I think men are doing that too.
Most definitely.
There's more and more men doing it too. It's not just, oh, women, let's just emasculate this man and do. There's men out there that are pushing that as well. But is that a form of narcissism, or
I
you know, is
I
it
think
just
it
how
has
the
to do with
structure's
survival.
changing?
On a certain level, I think that shit has to do with survival. Men, the top men of the world, because I do believe that yes, people are pushing the demasculation of men and all that. I believe that the top men, because okay, I'll put it on myself. If I'm the leader of a company, if I'm moving up in a company, if I can see a way to keep others down so I can keep rising and I can stay up at the top, like who wouldn't want to do that? If Lurker, if you had a store and you could have that store be better than Walmart, but you're gonna have to do something kind of shady to keep Walmart down so you could rise, would you not do it for the survival of your family and the prosper, so you guys can prosper?
Are we asking if capitalism is narcissistic driven? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Then yes, capitalism is driven.
That's the Bilderberg family. That's the Bilderberg family. That's Bill Gates. That's all.
In order for someone to have something, you have to make sure others have nothing. If you want it all, you have to make sure everybody else has nothing. It sounds fucked up, but this is the way the world has always been.
Y'all, I appreciate this conversation. We got our first Cap Shep of the afternoon, and this goes out to the Mod Stick gang. We got a new moderator on our channel. She's an old moderator. She's now a new one. Thank y'all for doing all that. Here we go.
Money work.
Period. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the support. And wait, thank you for the support. We love it.
So Crayons is saying that no, that's a form of societal disappointment. A
don't
lot
know.
of things is societal disappointment, in my
I
opinion.
don't, I don't, I don't agree with what Kaki's saying because they said something about basically we put women into this position by frauding them and doing all this. Nah, I don't think that that's
Fraud
correct.
them into doing
Honestly,
what?
it has to do with evolution. Men are physically superior, are we not? So what do
Yes, we're
women
physically
what muscle
stronger than
what
women.
thing
Yes.
yeah,
We
what do
unlock,
women need
we
to
on,
exercise in order to
hold on,
get
so we
yeah.
unlock is confused on what you're addressing. Kaki said in the chat, Kaki's a male. He says, we lead women, so now they are scammers and frauds too. He says, men are scammers and frauds. He says, hold on, I missed another thing. Narcissism is definitely masculine. Mother Earth could never be that cruel. So Saul is addressing those comments.
Oh, I didn't see the second one. But as far as the first one, I mean, I believe that's just simply has to do with evolution. That's just evolution. We are physically superior. So what do women need to do in order to? Because imagine you're at a job. Imagine you're at a job and you want more. You're going to have to learn more in order to do more, so you could get more. So women learn to manipulate. They learn to manipulate. They learn the art of persuasion. Why do you think there's so many videos and people saying, oh no, as far as cheating goes, women are definitely smarter? Yeah, because they learn to manipulate better, they learn to lie better.
So
We
the
didn't make women this way. If so, like, can you explain how? Or is just the men are frauds, the women and the men are scammers, and we did it so much to women that no, this is evolution. They had to learn to rise in some sort of way, because it's not like they're gonna arm wrestle us for the top. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta it's mind over muscle is what it is. And I'm disagreeing with what you said, not disagreeing with you.
so that's
Disagreeing
probably why it
what the brother
seems
just
like
said.
mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Okay.
But we unlock. Do you agree with Kaki with what Kaki said? Kaki's saying that men are only that men are only physically stronger, and that women are mentally and spiritually stronger. Do you agree with that?
They are, but as is the brother would put Salt would put it, evolution. I say when it comes to spirituality, when you put one and one together and try to make, or if you put the man and the woman together and let's just say holy matrimony, not holy matrimony. I'm
Yeah,
fucking
that's
up.
it.
Not holy matrimony. That usually comes first. I mean, it's supposed to come first. You're supposed to be married and before you have sex, but that's not everybody. I'm
Right.
saying this when it comes to your energy, and you batch the two together, and the male has the physical energy, the woman has the mental, the nurturing energy. You put both of the two together, and you're sharing information. You're sharing information with one another. So
Right.
therefore, you have the female traits, and the female has the masculine traits. So just in case he dies, all that energy pushes to the woman, or all the energy pushes out to the man until he or she is able to get hibernate and get married or seek somebody who has the same traits or whatever. Just be with someone who you can match up to. You know what I'm saying? So I think both genders can share both energies. That's just my belief.
Okay.
We unlock. That's a wonderful dream, but the experience of reality don't do it like that, hon. It
Right.
really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like
I would
Right.
my
have to
thing
disagree with you,
is,
sister.
hey, that's okay. I don't mind at all. I appreciate you disagreeing. I actually like it. Because from a woman's experience, you would love to have, okay, the man does his thing and the woman does his thing, but women have been pushed with the agenda for far too long that we can't do nothing. The only thing we can do is take care of babies. That doesn't make us less strong. Because sometimes you do have to lift a 50-pound baby around and do whatever. You know what I mean?
50
Times have
pound
Mhm.
baby.
changed.
50
Maybe even
pound
No,
heavier.
no, 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 no.
That
Let me
50
be
pound
more
Uh,
baby
uh,
crystal.
better get up and walk.
okay,
Let me be more
I
crystal.
feel you. I feel you. Sometimes women have to do things that men feel like, oh, we can do, and that's not it. Like for many centuries before, I'm not talking about now. Many centuries before, when there was no industrial society and there were hunters and gatherers and farmers and all that, yeah, we can sit there. Okay, the man is physically stronger, and what do we do? But if you look at animals, most of the time it's the women that hunt and kill and
Mhm.
and give people the food and all that, and the males just sit there and scratch their ass. But that's neither here nor there in terms of narcissism. If men keep holding all of the powers and women are held down to the place where, well, we can't do anything at all except what this man says I can do. And I'm not just talking about a husband, I'm also talking about a father. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Because as a girl child, your father is the first and foremost person telling your mama what to do. The whole concept of abortion, men don't want abortion. Man, you ain't never had a baby. You never had the R word. Well, you might have, but you never had to deal with things like that where you have to go through incest or grape and you get pregnant off of that. You know what I mean? So that's
Mhm.
why I kind of disagree, because you're not in that position where it's like, yo, I'm being held down every which way by these men. And you have no idea we on lock. How many times my father would be like, oh, you can't go here. My parents, my father's from Guyana. I used to go to Guyana and I had a cousin same age as me. How many things I used to be like, oh, I want to go here, I want to do that. No, you can't. You a girl. He didn't want to go do
Mhm.
none of that. He didn't want to climb no tree. He didn't want to do any of that. But he's a man, so he has to do that. So he got like the reverse of what I got. I got pressured because I wanted to do everything and I couldn't because I'm a girl. He got pressured because they wanted him to do everything and he didn't want to do it. He couldn't even do it. I could
And,
run, climb, jump, and lift heavier than he could.
and to
But because
piggyback, oh, go ahead.
no, I'm
No,
good.
I
I'm
was
just
going to
saying
say,
because of
so
the dynamic.
to piggyback real quick, men have looked at women as the inferior species since the dawn of time.
Facts.
Mhm.
And if we looked at each other as equals, that's why I feel like we unlock. That's a wonderful dream, because we would love to look at each other like that equal balance. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's the equal balance and da da da. But it ain't happen like that, bruh. Not for women's.
Right, right.
Not to journey off the subject a little bit, but there is a specific reason why most parents have been together in my generation for over 50 years or more. There is a specific reason why in this era, and I empathize with you, sister. There's a reason why in this era, in this century, with all the Z's and the A's and everything, why all this information, all this information that we're getting out is kind of tainted, and they want you to know. But if I were to tell you that there's more than what you know, than what you can get off Google, you will lose your mind. But you have to pay for that information. You would have to
Mhm.
pay to know what really is supposed to be for us, by us. And as far as
And to
listen,
me, I'm not to cut you off. I just want to nut a little bit. That's a narcissistic tendency as well. Like you're
Thank you.
withholding information for monetary gain. But continue,
mm-hmm,
sir.
mm-hmm, correct.
Capitalizing.
Mhm.
Why do you think there's so many capitalists? Because if you knew today that your skin tone, your skin, oh, I ain't gonna go there. I ain't
Well,
gonna
hold
go
on.
there
Let me
with it.
address Kylie. She says narcissism doesn't need a victim to exist, but it does. but it does.
I agree with you, Lurky. I
A,
agree.
a narcissist by itself is not a narcissist. If it's just you by yourself and you're secluded, you're on solitude, there's no narcissism there. A narcissist has to feel that you are inferior. It does need somebody. It has to feel better than somebody. It has to I'm going to pull these 9 things up real quick just to refresh the chat. You got me,
they've got to,
Let me
they've
just
got to have
refresh the chat.
someone to, they've got to have a supply. That's a buzzword.
It
They
is.
have to
They
have
have to have a supply. So narcissism, even though it is all about your self-delusions, you would not have those delusions if you were secluded. You would just feel, number one, self of importance. Like, oh, I'm out here on a beach. I got it. I'm broad. I'm strong. Okay. Preoccupation with power, beauty, or success. Okay. Entitled. Can only be around people who are important or special. Interpersonally exploitative for their own gain. Arrogant, lack of empathy, must be admired, envious of others, or believe that others are envious of them. When you are talking about the NPD, you have it's a narcissist can't thrive on its own. It's a parasite. Narcissism is a parasitic disorder.
I mean, if you look at these 9 things, it involves someone else. It involves having to have other people to even have these types of feelings. You know,
right.
You can't have a sense of self-importance
if nobody else
you
is
don't
around.
care, right? If you don't care if other people are around, or if no one.
And most victors need a victim. They got to be a victor of somebody.
That's right. That's right.
So if we're saying that, I think, because I asked people before the show, just right off, who do you think has the most narcissistic tendencies? And every person, man, woman, was woman. I myself kind of sometimes feel like we have the most narcissistic tendencies, but we are not the ones with the personality disorder. And maybe we show those tendencies because we deal with people who have the personality disorder, so we have to kind of combat it. And from what I've been listening to, we've all kind of came to the idea that it's from our environment, and specifically the United States, where we live in a capitalistic culture. That's what breeds narcissism.
And can I add, Godmama, there's a lot of mirroring going on in our society too. Like we don't always learn by experience anymore. It's a lot of memorization going on. That seems to be the programming and mirroring of others. So in order for me to get anywhere, I have to act like that narcissist, because that narcissist is the high standard right now. You know, that businessman or that insert person here that does these traits. You know, if I put it on a hip hop standard, I can sit here and be like, well, Kanye West fits all these bills right here, but he's making millions and billions. So maybe I need to be like him and mirror him in order to get even a slither of that. That's not how I think, but I'm going off of what I see in society. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Reef said, I like this. This is one thing we haven't brought up. He'll be narcissistic with his pet. Again, that they need something. It doesn't have to be human form. But yes, I have seen narcissistic men. In my experience, it wasn't a woman, but I have seen a man who used the pets because they couldn't use the spouse or the child or whatever else. So they went to the next living creature. But I'm talking about complete solitude. If you had a narcissist on an island and he's just stuck out there for 3 years, I don't think he's going to come back narcissistic.
Nope.
I'm sorry, I don't. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not saying my opinion is right. That's just my opinion.
But you know what, Lurky? He might come back a little narcissistic and don't tell nobody that he humbled himself by himself. You know what I mean? I'm with people again. Let me act how I'm supposed to.
He's gonna come back and be like, I conquered it. I survived.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he cried in the corner the whole time.
Right. Type shit. Right. A narcissist needs a victim to thrive. Well, you know, I don't have a PhD, but from what research has said, a narcissist needs a victim to thrive. And they don't want the weakest victim. A narcissist enjoys breaking their victim. They want the CEO, the independent lady who got a job, got her own spot, got whoop-de-whoop going on, so he can break her down. It's a challenge. And I was told this before, Salt, you better come back up. I was told this before, where men enjoy not only the chase, but the breaking of their prey.
Because we're men are constantly comparing us to lions and gazelles.
Lions and gazelles, not lions and lionesses.
Hyenas.
But even I don't like that. I don't like for men to say, oh, well, it's like the eagle and this, and it's like the lion and the gazelle. Nigga, have you seen a lioness? That bitch
right. The lioness, and the lioness does all the work. All the lion does is sit there, fart, sleeping, and fuck.
Oh, you ain't getting shit from the lioness if you ain't pulling your weight. I've seen it before.
Oh no, they will eat him too. Just like how they will eat their kids if their kids are not healthy enough.
Hold on. Kylie says, I'm interpreting it. No, baby, I'm saying you have to have 5 of these things. Self of importance. If you're on an island by yourself, how important are you? If you're preoccupied with power, beauty, and success and nobody's there to admire it, okay. Okay, fine. You're entitled. You're on a thing. But if you are must be admired and you're envious of others or believe others are envious of them, can only be around people who are important, that's not an interpretation. You have to have 5 of these things to be diagnosed narcissistic. If you took away victims and society, what is a narcissist?
Depressed. Depressed.
Right,
like
you know what I'm saying? They still
depressed.
might have NPD, but they don't thrive. Their narcissism isn't being boosted daily.
Right. They're lonely.
They're in a low spot.
I just
They're searching for their next
to be
victim.
an evil spirit.
That wasn't my definition, Kylie. That wasn't my definition, babe.
I would just consider the narcissist to be an evil spirit, and it's passed down from generation to generation. 9 times out of 10, you know, possibly your grandmother might have it, or your uncle might have it, might pass it down to his might pass it down to the father, and then it passes down to the son. So it's just a spirit. It's just a evil intent that it just pushes out through each individual. And the one thing that would possibly combat that would be somebody who is the opposite and would really it takes a lot. It takes a lot to really get to a person's psyche. You really have to be in control of your emotions and everything within you to unlock a person that has that in him or her. But I would say a woman is worse. I don't believe that. I believe it's both genders. It has to be both genders.
Yeah. I can't say it's one or the other. I really can't. And as far as thriving, as when I went and looked into, I told Godmama about this. I was like, yo, I started getting off the deep end. This is getting really good. Because that was my major, well, anyways, none of that. But when I started diving deeper into this, it just, narcissistic is something that it's like a parasite. It has to find a source. When you are, hold on, let me pull up my handy dandy notebook real quick, because there's cluster B. There's other things that are very close, but borderline personality, histrionic, antisocial, those things can thrive without other human contact. Schizophrenia doesn't need another human contact. There is a lot of mental disorders that don't need human contact. Narcissism is one of the few that does. Let me read this. This is from the DSM-5. Will you zoom that in a little more, baby? Let me see. Narcissistic personality disorder, the NPD, a personality disorder with a long-term pattern of abnormal behavior characterized by exaggerated feelings of self-importance and excessive need for admiration and lack of empathy. People affected by it often spend a lot of time thinking about achieving power or success or about their appearance. They often take advantage of the people around them. Their behavior typically begins in early adulthood and occurs across a variety of social situations. So, and that just kind of goes along with that last one I just read. But no, a narcissist needs a host. Not, and I'm not saying a host as far as, you know, they need someone to live with, but as far as somebody just constantly being there as for their needs,
And if you're not there for their needs,
it is Nikki
they don't
Crayons. I
want
went down the
no,
cluster.
they don't
Oh,
want
sorry.
nobody else. It's like they don't want nobody else
Right.
but you.
Oh, they'll
But
laser
you.
focus on you. They will laser focus on their target, and they will set a goal. I'm not going to give up until this person is broken down, on the floor, or whatever their goal is for them. But yes, a
Mental.
narcissist won't stop. It's like a pit bull.
Mhm.
They will lock jaw on your ass. So, but Nikki Crayon said that cluster B summary is also relevant. It is, and that's what I was telling Godmama. I can't go deep down that rabbit hole because we would. But as far as narcissism, yes, it absolutely it is a self-indulgent personality disorder, but it doesn't work the same if they do not have someone to fulfill that delusion for them, because that's what it is. It's a delusion.
What was it?
And can I just say something real quick? The Kaylee, I definitely am going to be interpretive. Because when it comes to narcissism, I can only go by the experience because even the definition can be confusing. And the way the human mind works in itself, like Lurky said, we all have narcissistic traits, you know. Me wanting to feel like I'm beautiful today, I could be vain on this day, I could be conceited on this day, but that doesn't quite make me a narcissist. You know what I mean? All these definitions by themselves does not always mean okay you're a narcissist because there's a need for these definitions individually at different times. So I can only go by my interpretation or my experience of what I see. I just don't want you to think that I'm some kind of psychotherapist, psychoanalyst. I just got a little bit of common sense in my brain.
Do you?
Yeah, none of us, I don't think any of us up here claim to be of the profession psychiatrist, therapist, psychotherapist, none of those things.
Yeah, we may have one trait that, you know, but in order for it to work, you have to have several of them. But like, for example, mine's is what? Being flirtatious, but that doesn't define me as being a narcissist. It's just mine's me being, you know, a little bit over my league. I could say my brother, he's a little bit temper headed, but that doesn't mean he's a narcissistic person, right? But yeah, you again, all that comes into one, and also, oh damn, I forgot. Also, you have to have a sense of entitlement. if you're a narcissistic person. You have to have a sense of entitlement to have everything in your life. It's not just the girl, but I'm good on the job, or I'm good with my kids. If I feel the need that you're not good with my kids, if you're not good with me, I take everything away from you just to teach you a little lesson. And
Facts.
if you're going to, if you're going to have the nerve to tell somebody, who's going to believe you? Who's going to stand by you? I mean, I know a person who has a church, right? And all of the congregations behind this one person. And he was married to a friend. I guess he was married to a friend of mine, and they labeled her the worst thing in the world. I ain't gonna say the other word, but it's the C word. I ain't gonna say that. But label her the worst thing in the world. And in order for her to get her
Caucasian,
her humanity, huh?
You said the worst C word in the world. I said a Caucasian.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
I was sorry. That was me getting it out.
It's hunt. Hunt.
Yes, yes. I knew the word. I was just being sarcastic. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you're true.
No, sorry.
But,
just trying to loosen it up. We're getting a little tense here. Let's loosen it up a little.
Okay, you want to loosen it up?
No. Carry on. Women will use the ugliest C word, correct?
Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick, and then we all like you can come back? Something that 504 said in the chat about the definition of narcissism that I think that we all should look at is often at the expense of others. You know what I'm saying? And that's where this question of who's more of a narcissist, men or women, come in, because the way women show their narcissistic ways looks totally different than how a man does it. Like, there are many women who can bring somebody down just to make themselves look good. Men do it too. But how a woman does it compared to a man might look a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You said
we've had this
she said covert
before.
narcissism when she came
right,
up.
Covert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Us get women getting the fat friend, to make themselves look better when they go out in public, and now they're the one getting hit on because the other friend isn't getting hit on because they're the fat friend. A lot women do this shit all the time.
Do men do that too? Do men hang around broke nigga? Not hang around broke niggas, but will they go out to be the star in front of their broke niggas? Will they go?
Oh yeah.
Will men go out and flex in front of their homies? Will they not show their? Well, I took my watch off, but will they not go flash in front of their homies? Will they not say, "I'm pulling the baddest bitches over here"? And women do it too. Oh, I just fucked this nigga for 50 grand. Oh, he wanted me to be a transsexual, so I put a strap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's feministic narcissistic tendencies, and there's male narcissistic tendencies, and they are different, but they all equal to the same thing: the grandiose of yourself, and thinking you're better than. Narcissism isn't a bad quality until you include the using of others and the lack of empathy of others. If you think great of yourself, like Saul said, oh, it's earned. If it's earned, clout or not clout. If it's earned, what did he say? Earned arrogance. If it's earned arrogance, okay, that's one thing. If you put in work, okay, fine. If you want to show it off. But it's when you haven't and you still will tear somebody down. There's not a humble bone in your spirit. There is not a concern for others or their safety or their well-being.
I say this: if you have to,
that's what narcissism is, though, babe. It is the lack of care for others.
I'm
Well,
just saying,
giving
you might as well become a true asshole if you want to earn it. If you have to earn
well,
it,
that's an
Thank
overt
you.
narcissist. That's an overt narcissist. That's someone who doesn't give a fuck. And a woman is what Sheree was saying, a covert narcissist.
You're on your way there. You're on your way there, so you might as well. You might as well be an asshole.
And that's my favorite. I would rather you just be a Donald Trump about it instead of a Joe Biden. Absolutely. I would rather an overt narcissist than a covert.
Absolutely, because I know what I'm dealing with.
And that's why
it doesn't take months. Yeah, right. Because it doesn't, an overt narcissist, it doesn't take months or years. It doesn't take time for that mask to fall off. The mask is already off. They're proud of who they are. They're proud.
And as a woman, you're not really supposed to be what is considered an asshole nowadays. You know what I mean? And I'm an asshole. So I get slapped with a narcissist every once in a blue moon. Like, I'm a narcissist because I'm an asshole and I don't give a fuck today, or is that just Capricorn traits? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? So
I don't think you would be that, sister. I just think it, like, you, like so many other women, you're what my sister-in-law would say, tired. You're tired of being manipulated. You're tired of being lied to. You're tired of all the lying, the cheating, the stealing, all this other abnormal shit, what people call normal today. I think it's just that. I don't think you
add that into inferiority as well, though. So it's one thing if you're lying to me and we're not on equal playing grounds. It's one thing if you're lying to me to keep me on unequal playing grounds. So, and a woman becomes we used to call the word jaded. Y'all remember that word? We used to say, "Oh, she jaded."
Yeah.
Back in the day when a woman stood up and she had enough, oh, she jaded. Did that make her a narcissist? I don't know. When she stopped giving a fuck about this,
I never had my car keyed or my car burned. Or
that's just abuse. That's just straight up abuse. That's just toxic.
I'm just saying. Right. I'm just saying. I mean, that might be, to keep you at arm's length from everybody else, and from that new lady. She might do some things that, vis-a-vis, what's her name? Damn, Left Eye. I mean, what she did to Andre Rice.
Oh, like burning the house and all that. Yeah. Hey, it got to be the burning bed sometimes. Sometimes it got to be the burning bed if the man is doing way too much. Nah, but Left Eye was a totally different character, though.
Well, and then we started doing movies and all kinds of stuff where they were like, waiting to exhale and stuff. And that's not narcissism. That's not. When a woman is fed up because she's been pushed down, lied to, all those things you just said, manipulated on, and she fights back, she finds her exhale moment, that's not narcissism. And I think
we don't know what the husband totally did, because they've been married for how many years? They've been married for 11 years. We don't necessarily know what the man did to the woman to get her to that, to just stay level-headed. So I can say, we can put that in there. And
if we go back to traditional roles that men claim they want, a woman in the house cooking, rearing the kids, not showing her body parts, all of that. Is that because
they don't want you showing your body parts, but you got the nerve to look a porn up? Get the fuck out of here.
I can give y'all a great example of traditional values that are seeped in narcissism. Remember, there was a time where a woman could not say that her husband raped her.
Right. It was legal.
Right. Like, you're his property. So what are you talking about? Like, that was a whole aspect. Like, you couldn't even say, as a woman, you couldn't even say that a man was abusing you or he raped you or none of that. You couldn't say it. And because they look at you and be like, what are you talking about? You're his property. What do you mean?
Facts.
What world is this?
I mean,
America.
We live in. Yeah.
right? With black
Anybody
people,
who
white
feels
people, China people. Yeah.
It
And
still
see,
goes
we
on in
don't like,
certain countries where you a man has every right to take you when he's ready.
and we unlock. That's what I mean by when the power structure is a certain way, those who benefit the most out of that power structure are never going to see it the way that those who are in the opposite spectrum will see it. Because look at your face when I said that. You never heard. You look like you never heard that a day in your life. But every single woman on this panel, and I guarantee if you ask women in the chat about their mama or their grandmama, they'll be like, "Yup, they couldn't say nothing." Even in the 70s, even in the 80s, you couldn't
Right.
say nothing.
And even up to the
Okay?
early 90s, your man could be at home drunk, beating you, all kinds of stuff. And it just, he didn't, domestic violence, the actual crime, it had to be severe in order for the man to go to jail. Usually it's, we'll remove the man from the
Or she
home.
did.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
It's just lovely patriotism that most men want back. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
So, I mean, if we're really, really breaking this down, are men more narcissistic or women? Are women using narcissism as a defense mechanism? Have we watched? Because women, if you're going to compare us, because a lot of men like to compare us to animalistic analogies. If women are lionesses and we see this clown and we pick up on their traits and we move accordingly, that makes us covert narcissists. But is that not part of the evolution to get rid of the narcissism? Because how do you combat narcissism? How do you combat that? You have to isolate that person. You have to remove that person completely. And even when you do, that narcissist is going to go find its next prey, its next victim. So us being covert narcissist, because we're not physically as strong, are we truly narcissists? Are we truly narcissists?
And that's another thing, Lurky, because if we are covert narcissists, are we subconsciously training our sons to be overt narcissists? And it's okay to do that. And then as mothers, do we like secretly train our daughters to be covert narcissists or manipulators or whatever the case may be? I think the answer is a little bit of both in today's society. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of everything. It's just like a little bit of all. We have people that use narcissism, weaponize it. There are people who are truly narcissistic. There are people, not much has changed except that now we can label things and we can put a name on it and we can define it and we can speak on it instead of just like, sweeping it under the rug and saying, hey, it's okay now, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Now we can say it's not okay.
It's not okay because we get to go to work. We get to pay bills, Mr. 50-50. How about I don't do 50-50 and I just do it myself, sir? Is that narcissistic of me? To not require 50-50 or not require a spouse and do it myself?
Facts. Because my man, he feels the way when he can't pay a bill for me or he can't take care of me. Why are you so hesitant to have me take care of you? And I'm like, dude, I'm just used to being independent. I'm used to doing shit for myself. I'm not used to no man paying the bill and all this extra. I paid my own damn bill. I mean, there was a time where I paid his bills because he had it messed up. So he had to explain it to me like that. Well, you looked out for me. Now, why can't I look out for you? So now I have to get to this place where I feel okay that he takes care of me. Is that narcissistic on his end, or am I using it, or am I being manipulative now? Because I don't want to use nobody.
It's not when you're working with your spouse and there's empathy involved. As long as there's some empathy involved, and as long as there is some humbleness on your side, that's not narcissistic. You can be a survivor. You can be a victor without being a narcissist. You can still have narcissistic tendencies, but you are not an NPD, a narcissistic personality disorder diagnosed person.
Y'all are making me feel bad.
Again, Kylie says it doesn't need a victim.
I'm sorry, we unlocked. I want you to feel bad.
See, I don't want to never be that. I don't never want to be that because it. Okay, you're winning it. You're winning, but in the end, it all falls. You fall flat on your freaking face. And if somebody in your family knows who you are, and this is the reason why I say to people, the father and the mother must be present when the little girl brings that boy home. They have to be present. And the father, especially the father, has to look at you and he has to analyze and he has to say, am I good? Or I'm sorry, are you really good for my daughter? Are you really a good person for my daughter? Am I going to have to one day wake up, find where you are, and do something drastic to you? Do I have to do that? Or do I give you the keys? Do I one day give you the keys to my car? Do I give you some money so you and my baby girl can go out and blah, 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 blah? It's like he has to make that decision. He alone has to make that decision. The mother can vent all she wants. I know, mothers are always going to be mothers,
But
But
that's
at the end of the
again, mother is going to be mother is allowing mother to be narcissistic without being called out on her bullshit. So that creates this when we start putting this out into the air, it creates this persona as a mother. Oh, well, then I can do whatever the fuck I want because guess what? Mother is mother. And at the end of the day, you're going to respect me. You're gonna take care of me when I get old because why? I'm your mama. And that breeds to me breeds narcissism heavy
And
where I
and
can
let's take it
treat
on the
you like shit, but when I get older or when you get older, you don't you have to respect me whether I respect you or not just because I gave birth to you.
And
That's
godmama,
kind of
I'm gonna even
cringe.
flip it back to the father. Like, yeah, I love my father to be protective of me. But if I'm 28 years old and my father is talking about, yo, should I allow you to do this and should I allow you to do that? Yo, pops, this is my boom boom. I need to trust in my own boom boom. You know what I'm saying? Even if I was 16 or 17, and pops is like, well, I gotta protect my baby girl. Da, da, da. That girl gonna sneak if she want to. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a level of control there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And sometimes, whether it's a boy or a girl, they're going to go sneak and do what they do regardless. So, to a degree, that father is being narcissistic too. Because this is my little girl and I got to make a decision. And like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the role of a pop. Be protective of your kids, male or female. But there's a line. You know what I mean? When are you going to draw the line? And, okay, I need to trust my kid too, because my kid also came out of my sperm or whatever. So I have to trust a little bit in myself. With them,
well,
that
I
doesn't
hope that
happen a
person
lot,
has a I
especially
hope
with
that
girls.
person has their own
Sorry.
crib. As long as you stand underneath their crib, and I know plenty of 28-year-olds still live with their mama. Please stop.
Yes, facts. I know that too.
I didn't know I was on mute, but let me say this one thing though. Children are not your property. Just because you're able to use them as a dependent for your taxes, just because you spread your legs and you push them out, or you laid with a woman and she spread her legs and whoop to whoop, they're not your property. Just
How
like
old we
you.
talking? How old we talking?
Property?
From birth.
Well,
They're not your property. They're not cattle.
no. You're not getting what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm saying that was my terminology. So let me finish my point and then you can come back in before I get too deep into that. But children are not your property. They are allowed to have their own voice, own opinion. Now, disrespect is another thing. But when your child gets to 16, 17, 18, 19, later teenager years, and you start controlling what they can and cannot do because you are losing control over them because they're no longer toddlers, they're no longer preteens, and they say, yes, mommy, yes, ma'am, and they're starting to develop their own adult ideology, you should be comfortable for the stuff that you raised them to be, even though they disagree with you or they're testing the limits like every human has done since the beginning of time. You cannot rear them back in for control's sake. And a lot of mothers will hold on to their children because they don't have anything else to grasp. So they want to control their children. They will manipulate their children. They will abuse their children verbally, emotionally,
hold them back
to keep them under their lock and key. Yes. And there are some fathers who feel that way about their daughters. There are some fathers who would rather keep their daughter as their property instead of letting her go be an adult woman.
And mothers are not partial, son or daughter, the mother will do it.
Shouts out to all the preachers.
That's my property. That's my baby girl. She's not going nowhere. She's staying here. What the fuck?
That dress is too tight on you. You need to put on something a little loose.
Would I be too forward if I try to figure out what's going on in the chat? Like, they going in and they talking in the chat.
I got it. Just
they ain't paying us no mind.
A brief little and then you can address the chat.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
Now go ahead with the chat, Sherry. Make sure y'all sharing too. Thank you.
I'm just saying, like, I know in the chat y'all are not attacking the person, like y'all are trying to attack the ideas, but it's like that line is getting thinner and thinner in the chat.
No. Let me just give a well out thing. This chat was built off NABisms, so it's okay to be a little rough. It's okay to be a little passionate about yourself. Nobody said fuck you. I think you're dumb. You're stupid. It's like either come with facts or come with this. Kylie saying something, Kaki saying something, Nikki saying something. Y'all all go off. This is what we want to do with this podcast. We don't want to be normal and be like, this is an echo chamber. We all agree. Yay. That's not going to get to the solutions. And that's what our podcast is based on. What is the solution? And Kylie is right. The question was, who has more narcissistic tendencies? Men or women. It wasn't who's more narcissistic, it's who has more narcissistic tendencies. Okay.
And Nikki, I didn't want to say you was attacking people or none of that. I'm just saying that the line is looking a little bit thinner and thinner. That wasn't towards you or anything. I just didn't want it to go to the opposite side.
Oh, well, there's beasts in the chat. This is sharks. We swim in shark water. We're not scary over here to have real niggas in the chat. Real niggas who can not only speak their opinion, back their opinion up, and come with compassion. I don't feel like anybody in our chat is a narcissist, so we all have empathy. We all have the capability to understand each other. Okay,
it's a fact.
But this is my favorite type of vibe to be in, is where it does get where it questions your thought process. I do not like echo chambers, period. I dropped the link in the chat just in case. I know we dropped down to 8. I know y'all are tired of us. We'll let this ride, I think, until 2. As far as we're at 1:48 on time, so.
Let me play this for a little bit, and we'll come back.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to talk about what Sheree was just saying.
Okay, come on, Godmama.
Everybody swear they solid till you put that heat on ice. We was taught to shine, now we looking like the city lights. Heard that boy was switching up, tell him he gon' need advice. If you still around, you still by me, yeah, you did me right. And I told them that's a strong bet. Whole team winning, yeah, we all set. And we ain't really in it that if you ain't on that. Once you give me the same love, I give it all back. It be the ones you don't expect to have it.
Oh, that's my first time seeing that one. That one's cute.
I slid that in on
I
you.
love
Thank
that.
you.
That one's cute. Shout out to my producer. Shout out to Godmama. She has all the graphics that you see except for our intro, and a few other things came from his lordship. But y'all give it up. Godmama is doing the dang thing as far as keeping this show looking cute and all of that. And Salt, we see you, baby.
Yes, we're waiting on you, so we're waiting.
Can I ask 504? 504 is the only managing moderator. 504, will you please drop his lordship's link? I don't know if you did earlier. Did she?
I can't remember. It's in the y'all's chat.
If you don't mind, shout out to his lordship. Shout out to his godmama production.
His godmama.
Shout out to his lordship and shout out to godmama. Good stuff right there. Good stuff. Yes, Nikki. And so does Kylie does too. Y'all, don't do my bestie now.
And see, and
it's not battle of the besties. We love y'all. Nikki, we love you. Kylie, we love you. And Reef, we love you. And we unlock Shree Bear. Thank y'all so much. We're not leaving. Godmama wants to address some more things, but just thank y'all for even being here. Thank y'all for just taking the time to have this conversation with us. I love it.
No doubt. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you guys so much, because this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a space where we could bounce these hot topics of what's going on in our atmosphere and kind of come to a solution, instead of always saying, well, what I'm saying to you is correct and right and true, and that's what you're supposed to do. We wanted to create a space where Lurker could give what she thinks, me, our guest, we unlock Shree, and kind of come to a solution at the end of the whole podcast. And y'all are gonna have to forgive me. We have been in a whole week of kids home, so you're gonna hear. That's why it's been cam down, mute, because
no.
But yes, but that when Shree was saying that the chat was getting a little heated, I think it also gives people an opportunity to learn how to have these discussions without actually attacking one another. Actually being able to say, well, this is the fact and not this, without having to attack each other.
Yeah, agreed.
Good point. Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And not being so, and walking away with something. The point of this is we're going to complain all day, but what's the solution? Okay, so we're all guilty. Okay, what's the solution? I'm not sure if we're at the solution, but for me is identify and correcting. Okay, if you have narcissistic tendencies, identify that shit and correct it. Kai's coming up, y'all. Hi, Kai.
I'm gonna make this quick because I done clocked out my UPS break so I can talk to y'all, because I can't keep typing while I'm trying to drive.
Well, thank you for supporting me.
And y'all making me sound crazy.
No.
I don't want to make you sound crazy.
You don't sound crazy, Kai.
Yeah. What's up, Capricorn? We in this thing.
Shree, she's talking to you. She's also a Capricorn. Kylie just had her birthday, so Capricorn.
Oh, happy belated Capricorn. Oh, shit.
Thank you. So what I'm saying is this. Yes, there are victims of narcissists. Okay. However, narcissism doesn't need a victim to exist. You can be sitting in your house by yourself thinking that you are all the fuck that, and you're not. Nobody has to tell you that you're all that. Nobody has to feed you. You just think that, which actually makes narcissism even worse, that ain't nobody even telling you're the shit and you think that you're the shit. And that's why I use Roy as an example, because people tell him that he ain't shit all the time and he still thinks that he's a shit.
Who?
Roy.
But would it?
Lord,
okay,
I had to laugh.
Shay,
Well, hold on.
So-
That's arrogance. That's confidence. That's cockiness. That's not narcissism.
and he has somebody. I mean, he has a significant other. I'm sure that probably
I'm not saying that narcissists don't have victims. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm
okay,
saying
good.
is
I'm glad. I think a lot of
narcissism is
people thought
based
that's
on a
right.
person think of how they think of themselves. Not if somebody's feeding it, not if they're winning or thriving, none of that. It's simply based on how they think of themselves. Now, they pursue victims based on that delusion, but that delusion exists before they ever even pursue a victim. They have to be narcissists to think that they can pursue somebody. That's all I'm saying. That's
Okay.
why I said it doesn't have to have a victim, because before it even has a victim, it already exists.
Okay.
So that would go back to the parenting, correct? The parents breeding that narcissist, right?
Well, I guess.
It's not something you develop. Not NPD isn't something you develop on your own. Somebody told you were.
Well, again, you're saying NPD, which is a disorder. If something is a disorder, that means it's an extreme version, right? It's gone to the extreme. But just narcissism, by definition, is self-cultivated.
Right, one's thought of
it's
itself.
Self-cultivated. So your parents might be cheering you on, good job, and you interpret that in your sick little head like I'm the shit and I'm the best. All they said was you did a good job.
That's arrogant. That's arrogant, and that's ego. That's arrogant and that's ego. That's not narcissism. That's
narcissism is the extreme belief. See, you were putting up the traits, the 9 traits from Duke is what a psychologist broke it down and says, well, these are the traits of narcissism. But that's not how Webster defines narcissism. The definition is 2 sentences long. 504 posted it. Yes. And at the end, it said it often affects others, but it didn't say in order for narcissism to exist, it has to affect others. Those are 2 different statements. So I'm just like, let's not interpret, let's define.
And it's okay. So I'm with you, friend. I hear you. Correct. Webster Dictionary. I'm not going to discredit it because it knows way more than I do. When we're dealing with narcissism, that's why we had this panel, so we can actually define what narcissism is, because people throw it around like it's a wet cloth.
Yes. And that's why I kept saying, let's define it, not interpret, right? Because arrogance is arrogance. Ego is ego.
Well, if you go to the DSM, which Nikki kept saying in the chat, if you go to the actual definition by a medical professional, psychiatric care, they will tell you what narcissism is. Webster will give you a sentiment
definition.
Right.
No, it gives you a definition. The medical diagnosis is based on research and treatment and all of that kind of stuff, and it's getting into the idea of it being a problem. Well, but you said there's good. Salk said there's good narcissism. That's based on the definition. So when it gets to the doctors, they are dealing with the negative side of narcissism, but there's 2 sides to it. You understand what I'm saying?
I have a question.
That's why I said interpretation is variable.
We have to be cautious, because if I go to the Webster and I go to look up certain definitions that have not been backed by medical research, I can't rock with it. Narcissism.
Well, that's not true, because Webster defines what the sun is. It doesn't have to be backed up by medical research to define,
scientific research That Webster wouldn't know what the sun was if the scientists didn't go research it, though.
My
I
mic
have a
is definitely
question.
biting.
Yeah, it is. I have a question based on what Kaylee explained, and
It's
y'all
Kylie,
can.
baby. It's Kylie. It's
Kylie, I'm
Kylie.
sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
Thank you,
It's okay.
Kylie. I'm in New York. I can't pronounce shit.
You're good.
Okay, so there's a guy out there, and I'm using an example. There's a guy out there named Shaba Ranks. Okay, Shaba Ranks is ugly as sin. All right. But Shabba Ranks needed some confidence, some arrogance, all that to go be able to sing his, dance hallery and all of that. Now, because he could do the dance hallery and all of that good stuff, girls is like, well, we don't even care that you look like Gooly Goon Goon. We're going to give you the poom poom. We're going to give you all of that. We're going to give you the power and the success that you want, even though you look like Gooly Goon Goon. But since you gave yourself so much confidence, even though we can see you look like Gooly Goon Goon, you gonna get all these things. Is Shabba Ranks a narcissist, or are the people who are giving him all these accolades? Is that a narcissistic trait? I'm just trying. I'm giving an example to figure it out from what.
Well, let me say this. I have on my Bluetooth earpiece, so I can't tell what the volume adjustment is in
No,
variation of what y'all hear.
No, you're fine. Stay out the comments, girl. Stay out the comments. We got this.
Okay,
No,
I'm just saying because it's not yelling.
you're
Okay,
fine.
I'm
No,
I'm too
you're definitely.
narcissistic to yell. I already know I'm right. I'm just saying.
And
You ain't no
boom!
narcissist.
And
You gonna sit there
boom!
and say you're a
I already
narcissist?
know I'm right.
Hold on.
And
She
guess
doesn't
what?
have
And guess
her last
what?
point. No, hold on,
And
please.
guess what? And guess
Kylie,
what? I don't need
Kylie,
none of y'all to feed me for me to know
Kylie,
I'm right because my
Kylie.
narcissism tells me I'm right regardless if
No,
y'all agree
Whoa,
with me
whoa,
or
whoa,
not.
whoa, whoa, bruh. What the fuck is you doing, nigga?
Kylie. This is why
Yes,
women are more narcissistic to you, bitch.
and I
No,
agree.
hold on, yo,
Women are more narcissistic
what
because we all
you
think that we got the best pussy, whether anybody tells us our pussy is good or not. We all feel like we got the best pussy. We all feel like if I'm this nigga's baby mama, I'm the top bitch in his life. I don't care if he gets remarried. I don't give a damn. I'm over his mama. I'm over everybody because I done had his baby. Blah, 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 blah. I'm the
not
baddest bitch in the
every
room.
that's not true. Not every woman feels that way.
I didn't say every. I said women are more. A man needs a titty in his mouth. He needs to be fed. A woman feels a woman that are narcissists. Let me say that they don't need nobody to validate whether they're a bad bitch. They come out the gate, I'm a bad bitch. A nigga
Indeed.
takes his position as a narcissist based on what the hoes are telling him.
That's facts. You can only call
That's fact.
somebody handsome so many times for so many decades before after a while there's gonna think, yeah, I'm pretty damn handsome. But I think that
And
goes with
yes,
anybody though. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
yes,
but does
but a
that make them a
woman could be
narcissist?
ugly as hell and she still thinks she's the baddest bitch. I'm sorry.
Does
Right?
that make her a narcissist? Because remember, Pum Pum make out. Let me not. Does that make them a narcissist? I'm just leave it
You said what, Shree? Say that again, babe.
I was gonna say something else, but does that make them a narcissist? I mean, by definition, it
Right.
can, but are they a narcissist if they feel that way? You know what I'm saying?
I got a couple questions.
I think, and I'm gonna say, hold on, so the
No, go
ism
ahead.
and the IST are two different things. So, like, you could talk about art and you could talk about being an artist, right? So, art is in the eye of the beholder. An artist is a person that creates art. You know, they're two different things. They're not the same. So, narcissism is not the same as being a narcissist, right? They can exist without the other one, and that's what I mean by saying it doesn't have to have a victim. It doesn't, narcissist can have a victim, but narcissism doesn't have to have one. It
I
exists.
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying now, Kaylee. Am I saying it right now, Kaylee?
Kylie, yes. That's all I'm
Kylie, oh my
saying.
gosh.
I'm
I
not
got
agreeing about that it doesn't have victims. I'm not
Kylie,
disagreeing that there
I
aren't
understand.
victims. I just want to be clear about the definition versus the act, the interpretation, and all that, because it's a progression, right?
I totally understand what you're saying now.
It's a
Thank you,
feeding.
Capricorn.
It listen, y'all not gonna cap up on this damn thing. Libra's in the building. He's still agreeing with y'all. Y'all not gonna cap up on here. That's not what we're here for. Okay.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Listen, I understand what Kylie's saying, but I have to say, definitionally, she's wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love you, friend. I love you. But it's wrong. There's a difference between, because there's egomaniacs, there's megalomaniacs. It's such a broad spectrum. If we're saying someone's a narcissism, they have to fit all of the things. Narcissistic tendencies, different. That's why we named it this way. You're saying women have more narcissistic tendencies, and we were asking, is it because maybe we learned them? Because there's plenty of men, well, not plenty, but there's a few men over here that are saying, no, the men are more narcissistic. The men have led, manipulated, treated, because inferiority is a big part with narcissism. So we have to, yes, Slow Fly, hi, and shout out to our mods. But we have to keep that in mind when we're speaking on narcissism. You keep saying, you don't need a victim. I just think I'm the best. No, bitch, you're arrogant. You're cocky. That's all that is. You're not a narcissist. You're arrogant. You're cocky. You're delusional. But a narcissist needs somebody else to fill.
That's not what the definition says. That's not what the definition says. I'm sorry. The definition does not say you need someone else for narcissism. The definition says narcissism is thinking highly of oneself. It does not say somebody else has to think highly of you. That's all I'm saying.
Admiration and need for the people admiring. Yes, it says that.
No, that's not what the definition. That's a trait. That's a trait.
Okay.
It's a trait.
Because a narcissistic personality disorder is so complex but feels so broad, they had to create a criteria for a person to meet these specific things, these specific symptoms.
Well, I don't agree with those.
Diagnosed with this.
I don't disagree with you when you're talking about a disorder. I agree with everything that you're saying when you're talking about disorder. What I don't agree with, though, is those same things that you are applying to disorder apply to the raw definition of narcissism. You're making them equal and they're not.
Narcissism, babe, it did not come up until it was a medical definition. So, and Webster might have dumbed it down to say, hey, you need to look at yourself. But if you go back to the 1974 definition of narcissism, if you go back, it's a medical definition. So we have to.
So you're saying the definition in Webster is younger than 1974?
Well, okay, hold on, Kylie. If you want to, hold on. Really? Let me explain this to Kylie. If you want to,
let's pull up Oxford.
Well, pull up Oxford. Thank you. DSM.
I'm just saying the dictionary definition is different than the medical diagnosis definition.
So which would you?
Okay.
You're okay with a non-medical definition for a medical diagnosis?
Well, narcissism isn't necessarily medical. That's exactly what Salt was saying.
That's where it came from, though, because those other words are arrogancy, ego-driven, high horse type personality traits. Those are different, but they can still show compassion. Narcissism has different traits. We could not go to Webster for that. If you go to Webster and look up woman, they're going to say, oh, yes, a woman is this. And you look down, it's going to say a woman is that. Is that the medical?
It's going to say a human being with a vagina. That's the raw definition of a woman.
That's not.
If you go to the medical definition.
That's
They should change that. Okay,
no,
so
Webster doesn't
that's
say that anymore.
uh,
A medical definition says that, but a Webster doesn't anymore. So,
okay. Here's what Oxford has to say.
thank you.
That's
Girl,
personality disorder. That's not narcissism. And that's the point that I'm making. I agree with that as a personality disorder. But narcissism is a characteristic
I see. So
and it's different than the disorder. So I'm glad that's exactly the point that I'm making.
okay, we unlocked said he sent something to me. Thank you.
It's narcissism is one of the three legs of the dark triad, which is Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism.
Oh yes, we unlocked. We know about this lady as well. Thank you. And if you want we unlock, I
had a couple of questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah, come on in, Salt. Hey, baby. Sorry. Y'all,
No,
we have
right.
like literally 20 more. I don't know how long. Godmama got kids at home. So I don't know how much longer we can do this. But
okay, and I'm on lunch break.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ain't got shit to do for like the next 2 hours. So I wanted to ask, so narcissists, they need attention, right?
Yes.
Do they punish those who don't give them attention that they're trying to get the attention from?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I know it's not exactly a lot of examples have been given as to, because she's saying narcissistic tendencies, who has more? I think maybe the conversation might go a little better, get a little deeper into it if we give examples. I'll go ahead and give an example now.
Okay.
All the divorces, the majority of the divorces in the United States are initiated by women. One of the top reasons is not getting up. Their husband didn't give them enough attention. Oddly enough, the numbers are damn near identical, or at least they were last time I checked, maybe about 6 months ago. They're damn near identical in lesbian marriages, not given enough attention. So it's like, okay, if it's like that with a man and a woman, and with a woman and a woman, I mean, what does that tell you? That's just one example of why I think women are more narcissistic.
Well,
that whole attention thing.
Well, they also did a poll to counteract that ideology. They also did a poll on why men cheat, because they feel that their spouse isn't giving them enough sexual attention.
Okay. That has to do with narcissism, not enough sexual attention, because they've also done a study to show that men actually not just want, but need sex. So if your partner isn't giving you exactly what it is you need, I mean, that's just kind of selfish on the partner's end, isn't it?
yeah, it says ego by
I love that definition. Love that definition I'm reading, Godmama.
Self-love, look at that.
It doesn't say that it has to be spelled. It doesn't say it has to be spelled outside. All that is from
If I
within.
masturbate, I'm a narcissist. It says sexual gratification obtained by contemplating oneself. So if I decide to masturbate, I'm automatically a narcissist. Man, listen, there's a lot of
No. You're not a narcissist.
You're selfish.
You're not a narcissist. You're displaying narcissism. That's why I'm saying it's a characteristic.
You are selfish.
Okay,
if my man is at work and I'm horny, then I just want to rub a quick one out.
We'll travel down to the job and give us some.
It just
further
keeps proving.
I like to get bucket naked. I'm sorry. Go ahead, y'all.
No, you're good. It just keeps further proving that we all show these tendencies,
signs of narcissism. Yeah. That's why I'm agree with that, because you said that earlier, that we all have signs. We all display narcissism, right? As human beings, totally. But we're not all narcissists because we have narcissism type characteristics. Right. The characteristics, right? It's the extreme of it that makes you a narcissist.
Narcissism.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, Lurker said something earlier. She said she'd rather somebody be an overt narcissist instead of a covert narcissist. I say that's going to be impossible when it comes to women. And I'll tell you why. Women can't be overt narcissists because eventually what happens is it turns into a challenge. Both of us can't be overt narcissists because like I said, it's going to turn into a challenge. And how do men take on men take on challenges? What is the ultimate challenge that really always ends up coming down to? Physical violence, physical strength. Look at Elon Musk and what's his name? That other billionaire. I think it was Jeff Bezos. Both of them could basically buy. They're both of them could buy the world, can't they? They could buy their own. They could buy their own country. Yet, they could both do anything they want. And what did it come down to? One of them challenging the other to a boxing match. If women push men far enough, yes, it can get physical. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you could challenge us all day. If we meet those challenges, what are women going to do? Push more and more. Why? Because they're over. What was the word you used? Just being like an over narcissist or whatever. That's what I'm saying. And Lurker, you also said something else earlier. You said men don't know what they want. Let me go ahead and give you an example as to how women really don't know what they want.
I said that?
Yes, you said that earlier at the beginning of the podcast. You said men don't know what they want. They did a study where they hooked electrodes up to men and women's genitalia, and then they showed them sexual images. And before that, they asked them, what is it that turns you on? Women gave a list of like 10 or so. They gave them a list of like 10 or so things saying, this is what I want. This is what I like. So they showed them all those images, and nearly almost everything that they said they wanted, it was something else. It wasn't even what it was they said they wanted. So even sexually, they didn't even know what it was they wanted. Half the time, you guys can't even choose what it is you want to eat for lunch.
What was the?
I don't know.
So we're doing experiments.
What was I saying? Men don't know what they want as far as what? Like
It was when you were talking about the whole baby thing and men saying, "Oh, I don't want this baby." It was around that time. I think it was maybe like an hour and a half ago. Maybe it was at the beginning of the podcast, like the first 30 minutes.
Okay, so that was different compared to what you're saying now, because as far as men wanting, I was saying men do not want a woman who they can't fuck, is what I was saying. And I said that men also want a woman that is modest. That's what I was referring that statement to. So context is what I was needing. But yes, men will say, oh, we have needs, we have wants, and this, that you're not giving it to her. But when it's a modest woman saying, hey, would you date me for a year without fucking me? But then when they have a girl and they end up fucking her, I want you to be super modest. Well, do you want a bitch that will fuck you on the first date, or a bitch that will fuck you in 365 days?
Well, I'll do what women do, and I'll throw 50 shades of gray into there. It depends on the woman. If she slept with about 12 different dudes before you got to her, and all of them had to wait within a week or a month, you can tilt your head all you want, it don't matter. They had to wait a week or a month to hit it, but no, you gotta wait a year. What the hell is so special about you? You think so highly of yourself. Oh, you really like me, so you're gonna make me wait a year. But the dude you didn't like, you gave the sex up to him. That doesn't make sense. That's dumb.
You have to put it in spiritual context, so if you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kylie dropped down. I think she had Kylie drop down. Thank you, friend, because I know we all had this conversation. No, she dropped down because she has to get back to work with her narcissistic self. We love you, bestie. Thank you for the support, and we love all the chat action. We asked for more chat participation, and you gave that today. And I love you, friend. I love you.
What did you say earlier about me coming back up and something about breaking people?
Oh, no, because again, you've got to get in context. You have to get in context, because what a narcissist loves, they don't go for the weak, they go for the strong. Thank you, Shri. Shri's dropping down too. We love you, Shri Bear. Thank you for coming up here. But what that context... Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you, We Unlock. He's dropping down too. Moderators, please, if you don't mind, drop their channel. She has memberships where she does fitness, which is lovely, and yoga and those things. So make sure we're showing love.
Homie. King We Unlock, his channel is not popping right now, but he said he's coming back next month. So before he does come back, can we drop his Cash App one more time? And thank you for coming through. And thank you, 504, for sticking with us as being our managing moderator and getting it together.
Shout out to 504.
Shout out to 504. Big ups to 504. She's handling everything down there. Love it. And shout out to our other mods who are busy with life. We love y'all. We got your group messages. Thank y'all for all the likes. Thank you for the cash appies. Ooh, but back to Salt. He said how I was saying that
to chase them, to break them.
well, and but what I was saying, no, hold on. But what I was saying that the chasing and breaking. But hold on. But what it was narcissism don't go for the weak link. They like a challenge. They go for the corporate. If it's a male narcissist, they go for even female. They go for the bigger dogs. They don't go for the small, tiny dogs. They go for somebody that they can, a woman. If it's a male narcissist, they love a woman that's independent, boss at her job. She got her own crib, got her own car, got her own shit going on. That's a very good energy attractment for a narcissist. So
I agree.
Same with females, I guess. They don't want the guy that works at Taco Bell. They want the guy that's got, 10 bands in his pocket, pull it out, grill lit up, card, you know what I'm saying? Sitting on them.
I think that's hypergamy. Hypergamy, where they try to go for the top tier, and then if a even more top tier person comes along, then they'll go for that guy. It's like even if you make 100K a year and a nigga makes 200K a year.
It's to break them down, though. It's not to build up with them. It's to let me manipulate you emotionally, mentally, physically, in all kinds of ways. Go ahead, Tree Bear.
I'm about to say, Lurky, I slightly disagree because I get it. Narcissists usually go for the top 10, but if you a beginning narcissist, you're going to get in where you fit in. You're going to play with your little craft with anybody. It doesn't matter how high or low. After a while, once you get your narcissism on point, okay, I'm going to reach for the stars now. But they ain't mad at starting small with the little guppies.
Yeah, I think she's talking about preference. It's like, okay, a narcissist will go after any kind of woman. However, if they had a choice, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go for the top tier woman, and then on low key fucking all these low tier women. So yeah, they'll go after anything. But I think preferably they would rather a 10.
Right, I get that, but I think even narcissists realize that before I could get to that 10, let me mess with these 5 2s real quick just to make sure that I could get that 10. You know what I'm saying? When I'm ready to get to 10, I'm gonna get the 10. Or if I get to 12, I'm gonna get to 12. I'm not just gonna, jump out and jump for the 12 knowing I'm a foul.
Oh yeah,
right.
Practice makes perfect.
Seeing what they can grab, seeing what they can pull in. Yeah.
And
then be shocked when it worked. Oh, that worked.
When that happens, if they're shocked that it works, that's what a lot of their downfall is. Whimsy, getting lost in self-congratulation. I was smart enough to get her to believe this shit. I was smart enough to get her to come over. I was smart enough to get the pussy. And then self-congratulation happens, and then they lose focus, and then that's the downfall.
Right. But a true narcissist will be like, took notes. I need to work on that. This is how I'll do better. And let me get this bitch back or this nigga back by any means necessary. Let me, let me be a parasite. Let me come suck you dry.
And
there's definitely an art to it. It's an art. An art. Somebody wrote an art, an artist.
Most definitely.
I was about to ask, does the narcissist go after who everybody else says is a 10 or who they deem to be a 10? Because you're talking about coming back.
It depends if it's covert or overt. Because a covert narcissist is okay with the girl that looks like Jane next door. Right? She go to work, she take care of her kids, and she go home to a nigga that playing the PlayStation all day. He beating her fucking ass. Kids ain't clean. He been waiting for her to get home to change the diapers. He want her car keys. He want this, that, and the other. There's a difference. So it depends on if you're dealing with covert narcissism or overt.
There's levels to this narcissism shit.
There is. But
my favorite line.
Arrogant, not give a fuck bitch is a narcissist. Period.
Or more so a nothing ass bitch.
Not every nothing ass bitch.
I have empathy. That's why
I have too much empathy sometimes. If any one of you think that you may be with a narcissist, here's the hotline. You can the 1-800 number you can call, or if you're not able to call, You can text START to 88788. They also now have a really cool website where if you're like on there and you're trying to get help and your abuser is around, you can hit a button and it completely clears out of your history, all of that. So it is a really real thing
Situation.
for some people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So if we're agreeing that everyone is showing, we all have narcissistic tendencies. A lot of us are agreeing that women may display more. Um, and
Indeed.
with keeping what we on lock, it was saying when he introduced himself of keeping the family together, keeping the family whole. Um, what
Yeah.
solution do we have for each other, right?
Right.
If
Yes.
are we going, if we're in a relationship with someone and we've been in this relationship and we recognize they display hell of these fucking signs, do we leave, do we help, what, but and I understand, again, there's different levels, but what are some maybe solutions or advice or kind of things people can carry over when it comes to dealing with narcissistic tendencies in ourselves,
Yes.
I got a few.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
maybe addressing what happened it personally first.
Right. Right.
For me personally, I think it's like, okay, we all have narcissistic tendencies or traits. That's something we're born with. When does it become a learned process? And do we go back to the learned process? Like, oh, let's go back to your mom, your dad, your this, your that, whoever raised you. Or do we go into DNA to try to fix this thing since we all have these traits? You know what I mean? Like, do we go into
Hmm.
past lives or something weird like this? Where do we combat this at if we
Hmm.
born with this thing?
That's when the waters get muddy, because if you go back to, because most of these people out here who act like this, they got it from one or both of their parents. It's hard to take something that you learned when you were a child and get rid of that, because if your mother was a narcissist and you see a doctor and they tell you one of the reasons you're like this is because you constantly see your mother be like this, what she was doing was wrong. But wait, your mother was a narcissist, you've always only ever see her like that.
Hmm.
Mama was never wrong. So for the doctor to
Hmm.
call mama wrong, if you have a certain type of personality, which y'all know what type of personality I'm talking about, if you have a certain type of personality, my mama ain't wrong. Something wrong with this doctor. I need to go find a new one. So it's like,
True.
unless you are therapy and stuff like that, it doesn't work unless you actually want to see yourself for who you really are. And most people don't. And like they say, narcissists
Exactly.
don't like themselves. They have a negative self-image. If you have a negative self-image, you're not going to want to go to somebody and they tell you all the things that's actually wrong with you and can give you clear-cut examples as to how these things are wrong. As a narcissist,
Right.
no, you don't.
As a narcissist, you can't even let anybody tell you you're a narcissist. That's like, throwing water on one of them witches in the Wizard of Oz. You
Yep.
Hmm.
can't even,
And
they're not going
one of the
Hmm?
most revered therapists on YouTube, she even tells you, don't you dare call a narcissist out. Don't you dare do it.
Then you
Because
gotta
it
pay.
can backfire in your face.
to.
Either it can go a bunch of ways. Either now they're going to start calling you a narcissist and making you feel like you are the narcissist, or it's going to turn in the opposite direction of isolation and those types of things. So I think we all need to kind of, like Shree said, and I like that idea of every so often kind of checking in with self and seeing, like, damn, am I developing narcissism? Because I understand I have narcissistic tendencies. I get that. But am I developing the actual personality disorder? Maybe, like, a check in with self.
Right. And Godmama, you said a few minutes ago, you said, what are some things we can do to like combat it? I would say, like, as far as relationship goes, I would say clear boundaries. Clear boundaries, clear roles, what your role is in the relationship, and show respect. Don't just say I respect you. Actually show it, because actions will always speak louder than words.
Amen. I shaded that, sir.
Kylie said therapy, and I want to chime in on that too, because Salt, you said something about your parents and what are you gonna do if somebody says your parents are crazy. That gave me confirmation that I wasn't crazy. To me, I had the luxury, not the luxury. I went through a lot of shit, but at 14 years old, I had a mentor therapist type person, and they said, "Oh, we just heard what your mom said, and she's a fucking psycho." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And they were like, you need to get far away from that, and you need to move on and focus on yourself because she's got some issues. Was that hurtful to hear? But it confirmed so much for me at 14. That's something my sisters weren't offered. I was offered that somebody saying, "Hey, it's crazy. Get away from this. Even if you are a child, this woman's kind of off her rocker, and you're going to end up a little detrimental if you keep playing around with that energy." I had that luxury of a therapist coming out and saying, "This is crazy." So, again, to me, another solution is paying attention to people.
Yes, observation.
For those of us who aren't narcissistic, don't be like, "Oh, go home, you're good," or "Hey, this is right." Call it out, see it. I have people around me that hold me accountable, hold other people accountable. I just having that and speaking out, saying this is what's going on. That does a deal of work. It's hard, it's uncomfortable. You feel scared, you feel judged, or you feel some type of way. Even as adults, I can't imagine harboring that stuff all the way to my adult years. But I didn't have to. Okay.
That's how most people spend their lives.
So there's a lot of adults who are holding on to some stuff that let it go. Speak to somebody. Have you a good crew around you. Not everybody that's an echo chamber saying you're perfect, you're this, they're wrong, you're right. No, have somebody that you can work through everything with, and it doesn't need to be your friends. It doesn't. Go find help. There are services right now. The Democrats are at an all-time high. They offer all kinds of free services like you would not believe, but you have to go seek it. You have to stop it. You have to identify it and correct it. Whether you are the narcissist or you are the victim of being around a narcissist, both of those things have to be identified and corrected. There's no more excuses. It's 2024. If I can sit online with, these people for 2 hours and 30 fucking minutes, I'm sure I can find somebody out there that will lead me down a path of healing and moving forward.
And so many people are afraid to go down that route. So for those who actually would be afraid to go down that route, I would say practice meditation, find some books, because like, especially in the Black community, you go to a therapist, oh, that motherfucker crazy. It's looked down upon to seek help in the Black community. So I would recommend, like, I've even recommended mushrooms before to people who have had traumatic events. It's going to make you feel all the feelings, and it is going to help you, because if your personality disorder or whatever's going on with you, your narcissism is ruining your life, and you know it's because of that, the first step is just knowing. You know you have a problem. If you're too afraid to seek out a therapist, find some literature that you can read. Find different ways of dealing with it. Find different ways of being able to look at yourself without being disgusted and realize you have a problem and you want to fix it. It's betterment of oneself.
That's right. Identifying, correcting, and it's not easy.
It's not. And separating yourself and making yourself an individual separate from that person is also very helpful, because most of the time narcissists will make it seem as if you can't live without them. You know what I'm saying? You are nothing without them.
Right.
So one thing that meditation definitely does is it keeps you in a space where you are an individual. You don't have to be connected to them in any way, shape, or form. And if you can find your individuality, whatever way that is, to be like, okay, of a good example is, for me, my mom and my dad, they could be considered narcissists. I had to say to myself, they had to do what they had to do in their time, but this is my time now. I don't live in their era. I live in my era, so I have to do this. I need to do it. And that was a way for me to be able to separate myself. So now I can see when they're trying to gaslight me or anything like that because I
Mhm.
realize I'm my own person. So maybe it takes a little bit of narcissism in order for me to get out of that, narcissistic situation right now.
Right, and that's not narcissism. It's not. When you are being in a place of self procurement, when you're in a place of just self, what do we call that? When you're protecting yourself, you cocoon
Mhm.
yourself. That's not narcissism. That's not. So
Mhm.
don't let. I love that. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, you need me because you're the problem. Okay, well, if you're the problem, remove yourself and go seek help.
Mhm.
Okay, and see where that leads you. Right? Because
Mhm.
I promise you, I can't give statistics, but I'll say 75% of the time, it's your atmosphere and your environment. Move that shit the fuck around.
Mhm.
Okay? And even
Yeah,
if
because
you have a narcissistic tendency, not all of that is bad. Not all of it.
correct.
It's when you start lacking empathy and making people inferior and you start adding all that other shit onto it.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think we maybe need to come back at a later date and kind of because she made a very good point in saying we're kind of sticking to narcissistic abuse, the abuse side, and not so much the personality or the trait side. And with narcissistic abuse, that is also a disorder now because you
Well, she was
end up
saying we're
being like a
using too
total.
many. She was saying we're using too much of the tendencies and not sticking with the definition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She's saying this, yes, it might be abuse, it might be that. She's saying, oh, it doesn't need a victim. She says you're narcissistic from just your own personal self. And we all have that. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be born after a certain age and not have some type of narcissistic belief of yourself. But I mean, if you're a godly person, he promotes narcissism. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens him. You can do, but there's so much more. So yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
I think as a mother, the way I combat that is calling it out in my own children. That's the way that, and it feels weird because no one did it to me as a child, but I understood that before we even had this conversation, that I am the one who breeds a narcissist, whether I
Right.
like it or not, right?
And not for
I'm the
nothing,
one
children
who's in
have to do that.
control of that.
Children have to exhibit those tendencies. I mean, I'm thinking of the terrible twos. That's the
Hmm.
first time a child starts using that no. You know what I'm saying? No, no,
They're
no, no, no,
yes.
no,
Hmm.
no. Like that, if we're going by the definition, that's a narcissistic trait right there. But that's what they have to grow into. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm like, okay, what is the natural progression and what is the learned progression? So God, Mom, I'm glad you even said that, and I'm glad you watching your kids to direct them in a way, because you're right. A lot of parents didn't direct them, or didn't direct them in a proper state. Maybe they just were ignorant to it. You know what I mean? They just didn't know
Hmm.
how.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you teach it. You don't. It's a process because you don't use it in a way of belittlement. You use it in a way of teaching knowledge, like learning. This is learning your own behavior, learning your own emotional self. That you're manipulating right now. This isn't what we're talking about. This is the issue right here.
Yeah.
You're doing all of this because you don't want to work
Deal.
with this right here.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Distraction, guilt deflecting, plastic
Mhm.
shifting blame. Oh,
Mhm.
it's the road
Accountability.
I grew up. I was a slave. I was this. I was
Accountability.
Yes,
It's
accountability.
that.
accountability. That's how you beat narcissism.
Mhm.
Accountability. That's how you beat narcissism. All right. Is there anything else we need to address? This was great, y'all. It's been 2 hours, 38 minutes. My godson's calling, so I gotta go. But is there
So
any?
overall, does everybody agree that women have more tendencies than men?
No, absolutely not after this conversation. No, fuck no.
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
So who has more?
I
We're
The
think
men do?
about
I think it's. I think the
Or
covert,
or
the
or it's
overt. I think it's a fair balance
so
between men and
so it's
women.
a fair balance. So
And
and
I
I
think
know,
it's a fair
Saul, you
balance.
have issues with this. You
no
have
no no.
issues with
Yeah,
women
go ahead.
not being able to decide one or the other because we've had this conversation before.
Right.
It's that, you know,
It's
but
got to be
When I
the
sometimes,
say
women, or it's got
yeah,
to be
hmm
the
when I
men.
said when it comes time to who has more of some negative thing, it's either the men have it or we both have it. It's never just the women have it.
Oh no, there's a lot of things the women have by themselves.
hmm
No, no, but I'm saying like argument wise, normally whenever debates like this happen or combos like this happen, it's usually the men are wrong or we're both wrong. It's almost never just the women are wrong.
Well, I was able to listen to both sides because honestly, I came in here guns blazing, ready to charge up. But I listen to people like Reef. I listen to We on Block. I listen to Shree Bear. I listen to their sentiments as far as men and women. Because Reef was going hard on y'all men. We on Lock was going hard on you men. And I had to agree
Well,
with what
people
they
hop
were
the fence all
saying.
the time.
Well, no, I had to agree with what they were saying. So as far as bounce go, now if Kylie tells it, she's gonna say women. As far as I go, I don't. I kept saying this. I couldn't put it on one or the other. I couldn't.
Kylie seemed like she was dropping more facts than everybody, so I agree with Kylie. We definitely on the same page.
Okay.
I feel like like I always feel everybody has narcissistic tendencies, but
Yeah.
however, because I'm trying to stay away from the word but, however, as a mother I feel like we kind of bring that more to the table because from what our conversation was today, it starts in your environment. So
Yeah.
in order to breed a narcissist, you have to first be a narcissist yourself. In order to first have narcissistic tendencies, that person has to learn it from somewhere. And we know we learn things in the first 7 years, like
Right, right,
concrete.
right.
So I,
Well,
I feel
before
like
I
it's
go, can I
us.
ask one
I
last
do.
question, Godmama?
And I'm okay with that because we're gonna have to have another conversation because it's gonna go back to the evolution of the woman, right? And why? Okay, so if we do display more narcissistic tendencies, then why? What is the evolution of that, right? The manipulation
Survival
that
and
we've
getting
had
what
to
you want.
learn, and yes, yes,
It's the
yes.
human. It's part of the human condition to want in excess. Like we're as greedy as it gets. A woman wants more, so how does she get more out of the man? Got to manipulate him into doing it because it's not like you can literally twist his arm and make him do it. Okay, keep sex from him for
Well,
about a week, and then see if he'll buy you
that's
that
why
Louis belt.
that's why
You
I
know what I'm
wish
saying?
Greg would have hit the panel as well because he also said it's definitely both. So as
Yeah, I
far
know.
as
I
narcissism.
mean, we both do it. We both do it. Somebody has to do it more, though. One side has to do it more. There is no just cut right down the middle. I mean, it's not like it's a block of cheese.
So
Okay, we're gonna
okay,
wait.
if we're talking 2024, who does it more? I mean that should be more narrowed down to that. But if we're talking about as humans as a society as a whole, who does it
Hmm.
more? That's
That's like
bigger.
which came first, the chicken or the egg?
That's bigger. So if we're talking about just 2024 bitches, are we talking about niggas since the dawn of time? Are we talking about since the dawn of time? Because
Hmm.
inferiority plays the biggest role in narcissism.
Hmm.
Inferiority.
And
Someone
not for
has to be
nothing,
inferior.
none of us have gone back enough to know what a matriarchal society looks like. If the matriarchal society was just like the patriarchal society, I could say, yeah, men and women from the dawn of time, but we don't know that. I
Hmm.
just know about this society here.
And we live in a narcissistic society. I think we can all agree
Oh,
with
Hell the
that.
absolutely.
fuck yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
I can
Absolutely.
say that females perpetuate narcissism more. If we want to be fair like that, we perpetuate it, allow it, and enable it from whoever, male and female, young and old.
Mm.
It's all good.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off before I do. It's been fun as usual. This was a great topic. God Mama love the headset. Just let me know when I can order my Big Mac lurker. That push up bra is working out for you. All right, peace out, y'all.
Thank you.
Listen, so don't worry, you're about to get cussed out.
Headsets and push-up bras.
I had it on last week. Anyways, Shree, would you like to give your final sentiments before?
Terrible.
Listen,
I
I'm
would
just
just
here to promote.
thank y'all for having me.
No,
I
Shree
don't know.
Bear. Thank you
Huh?
for coming, my love.
Yes,
It's all
yes.
good. I don't know if you rocking a push-up bra, but the tetas look great to me. You know what I'm
Thank
saying? A
you.
push-up bra, no, they can be droopy.
I mean, I can take the bra off. It's fine. We can see it. But y'all, listen. Don't worry about all that.
That's
Don't.
for the other channel. That ain't for this channel here.
And for this channel, yeah.
A
Okay.
girl goes through. Women go through cycles. Thank you. So
It's a
sometimes it's a
fact.
little thicker than other days. Same bra I had on.
Wow, that's a fact.
Sometimes the
Well,
breast will be heavier. I don't know what to tell you.
listen, I know what you mean, and that's a whole other conversation. Child, when we gonna have that conversation anyway?
Soon, Shree, soon. We are
Okay,
definitely having
cool.
more conversations. We want you to come through.
Ooh,
As far who
good.
do you have to pick, Shree? Who are you going for? Men or women?
Oh well, I'm going for the men's, of course.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
But we all learning. We all learning. Like we got to grow together. That's my thing about it. As long as men aren't resistant. Men get more open. Women don't get too closed. I think we'd be all right as far as dealing with this thing here. As long as there's this open communication and open thinking, open mindedness instead of just being like, well, fuck that, I'm this, that's it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
All right.
Kylie, big, did I say your name right this time, Kylie?
Kylie. Yes. Yes.
Kylie.
Yes. Hi, Kylie. That's the
I'm
homie.
good now. But I like what she said because she wasn't afraid to be like, well, I'm a narcissist. I do narcissistic shit sometimes. And when you can admit that, or when you could do that, you definitely had a better place than most. And that goes for anything, not just narcissism. You know what I mean? If
Period.
you could sit there and be like, I have this seriously, it's a problem or it's not a problem, but I know I am this. Nobody can really do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all on you now. You full adult and go ahead and do your adult thing. But this is great, ladies. Y'all keep this good shit up.
We'll be back
Okay.
next Friday.
We'll be
We
back.
will
Okay,
be back
good.
next Friday.
Whether I'm in the chat or on the panel, y'all keep going. Y'all, this is wonderful. I love it. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
get off.
Thank you, Shree.
Thank
Everybody
you,
in the
Shree
chat,
Bear.
y'all great too.
Thank
All right, love
you.
y'all. See you
Love
later.
you.
They do look a little long. Anyway.
Girl, anywho, this was fabulous
It was.
again.
It was. It was.
Um,
And I'm grateful for the participation. This was on my goal list, and y'all came out and showed out for
mhm.
participation. Participation awards. We got dropped another Cash App today, going right back into our channel. That pays for graphics, that pays for StreamYards, that pays for everything we have going on. And we want to upgrade. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? We're going to move from headsets to microphones to, you know what I'm saying, other things.
Right, since Salt's over here making fun of my trucker headset, which you probably have one on too, sir. You could donate so I could get me a mic. Okay.
Can we get
No flex.
Kylie's? Kylie said she had something in her ear too. Can we get Kylie's
Right.
mic?
You're
Facts.
right, because she was booming. And these kids in the back with the daggum tablet.
Listen,
Hello. Got
and
a break.
I got my neighbors out back doing the most. They knocked some shit out my yard. Anyways, thank
But I
y'all.
want to ask the chat before we leave, because we have tossed this idea up back and forth. If
Okay.
we need to have a mid-week stream for you guys to go over more things, so I kind of, since we've got y'all here, yay, nay, maybe not, or just
No.
stick to our once a week. Because again, we said this is our 6-week trial, and we're trying it out and seeing what works for us, what works for y'all. If y'all like it, love it, hate it, want more of it, that type of thing. So. And we may even sneak in a late stream just to see what that participation is like as well.
Right. Evening
Yeah.
participation. We might hit y'all with an evening live, a midstream or midweek stream. Dropping the link the way we dropped it today. That's not going to be a regular occurrence, but because the chat was doing what the chat was doing, it felt good to do that. So y'all give us feedback. The more feedback we get, the better we'll be at this. Like Godmama said, this is our 6-week trial. So if y'all like it, we love it. We want to, we want to move on to bigger and better things, and we will. And just keep doing what y'all doing, supporting us. Hit the up like. We love that. We love that.
Yes, love to see it. Y'all have a great night or a great afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being replay gang. To support us, please just like and share and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Even if you gotta share it on Facebook, we're good with that because we want.
Yes. Share everywhere, all platforms. All right, peace. We see y'all next week, later this week, something like that. I'm definitely gonna be dropping some more links on info for narcissism. Great show, Godmama. Thank you, co-host.
You're welcome, co-host.